OK! 皆様、ごきげんよう。鳴杜水月のネ配信へようこそいらっしゃいました。Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, students. Welcome to class. This is another collab stream, and as you can tell, got a cute setup here with a cute girl. Yay. Woohoo. But yeah, so today's topic is let's talk about Japanese versus Western otaku. But I asked the designer to like put in like otaku culture, and she was like, I feel like that's too long. And I was like, yeah, you're right. So that's why it says otaku, but we're not going to just talk about like otaku as in person, you know? We'll be talking about culture. So yeah, so we have Shimo-san here. Shimo-san, would you mind introducing yourself? お願いします。
Yes, hello, I'm Shimo. I'm a fake hot girl, and yeah, that's it.
You're not gonna like talk about your music?
I'm still very bad at introduction.
Whatever. Excuse you. Yeah, no. Shimo-san's cool. Shimo-san makes music. Good at music. DJs
yeah, I
too.
make music.
Yeah, crazy cool. I can't do that, so I think it's cool. Extra cool. Hi. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Mizuki Meido. I'm a Japanese teacher VTuber. Well, / English teacher VTuber. The English content is yet to come because I don't have enough Japanese viewers, sadly. What's going on, you people? I don't even get found by my own people, but it's okay. But yeah, so we're here to talk about the difference and the similarities in otaku culture between, I don't want to like use the original, like the word like original, because I really don't think Japan is like the original, because you know, cultures, they evolve and like everybody adapts, but we're going to be talking about like how certain words are interpreted differently, or like, you know, difference in culture, whatnot. And I just want you to know that this stream is not a place for us or like for anybody to look down on a certain aspect of either one of the cultures, but hoping to find similarities and differences so that we'll be able to understand each other better. Yeah. And, I need to explain that in Japanese too. はい、ということで、皆様ごきげんよう、メイド水木と、下久江さんです。下さんですね、音楽活動されてる Vtuber さんで、DJ だとか、同人音楽を制作されたりとか、いろいろされてる Vtuber さんですね。で、ご覧になっていただけたらわかります通り、めちゃくちゃ可愛いです。私の自己紹介も念のためさせていただくんですけれども、メイド水木と申します。半獣人メイド日本語教師系/英語教師系 Vtuber をやっております。で、本日ですね、英語での配信とはなっております。我々の共通言語がね、英語なので、英語の配信とはなっているんですけれども、なんか、オリジナルっていう言葉はね、使いたくないんですけど、ある意味、日本で生まれた、アニメだったりゲームだったりのオタクカルチャーが海外にでどう発生してるのかっていうのをね、皆様、気になったりしませんかねっていうことで、そういうお話を、させていただこうと思います。Wait, Shimo-san's mic is staticky? Sorry.
Is it?
Maybe I turned up your mic a bit too loud. Can you say, Is that better, everybody? We'll see what they say. Sorry, I maybe have like turned up your mic because I wanted people to hear your cute voice. よし、ちょっと音量調整 No? No, what do you mean by no? Like, is that a good no or a bad no? Which no? No means many things, depending on the context. どっちの no? Still there's cracking, really? A bad no. Dang, okay. Let me try that again. Sorry, Shimo-san. Can you try that again?
Yeah.
Eh? That is so weird because I don't hear any cracking or anything.
It shouldn't be.
Okay, how about now? I just changed... Huh.
Is it any better?
Everybody, is this better? By any chance? Filter. Sounds better now. Okay. 良くなったかな? Okay, that's better. Okay. That's so weird. I had this like Discord audio on the mixer, and now I have it on I turned off the Discord and instead turned on the desktop audio. So maybe that was why. Which is still weird, but okay, glad it's working.
Interesting.
はい。まあノイズ大丈夫ですね。大丈夫みたいですね。音バラはよろしいかと思います。ありがとうございます。Okay, so hello to everybody who's joining. ありがとうございます。Well, we are going to start. ということで、Shimo-san. Japanese versus Western otaku culture. The reason why you're here is because you probably are one of the few people that I think knows really well about the both worlds.
It feels weird to say, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think there's plenty of people who are interested in, the otaku culture in Japan, but I think, a lot of people don't realize how different it is. And from what I see on Twitter, that Twitter is the only source of my, information, but I do see a lot of differences. But what do you think is, the biggest difference? I know that's a broad question, but...
Oh god, there's so much.
Okay, pick one. Choose one. Which I know is
so hard. There's so much that's not understood about it. It's hard to pick one. I mean, I guess if I had to pick where to start would be doujinshi.
Okay, let's talk about doujinshi. Shimo-san told me something extremely shocking, which was that the word doujin is somehow translated or understood as something sexual in the English community. Is that true?
Yeah.
That is crazy. Sorry, let me explain that in Japanese because I think that's shocking to a lot of us. これ前裏でお話ししてた時に聞いたんですけど、日本の同人っていう言葉、同人誌とかの同人っていう言葉がいわゆるセンシティブ方向のものだと思われてるみたいで、っていうのを私はびっくりしましたね。So Shimo-san told me that because Shimo-san makes doujin music, people will be like, what? Right?
Yeah, because it's something that'll come up even with I've even had it come up in with other Western VTubers where they'll be we'll be having a conversation, I'll mention doujin music, and they'll be I don't know if we should talk about that. I'm just what do you mean?
What do you think I make? But yeah, I tried to think about what people would consider as rated R music, and all I could think was I don't know, people.
I don't know what they think
of people
Yeah, no, it's weird because it's a lot of them listen to doujin music without realizing that it's doujin music they listen to, or they're engaged in doujin media to some extent without even realizing it, right?
Yeah, I mean a lot of things. I feel well, when we, I feel as much as I don't usually talk about those stuff, when we talk about Western or outside of Japan otaku culture, I feel well, probably and hopefully not as much anymore, but I feel pirating was a big reason to why it got so big, right? And I feel because of how a lot of original, I guess, published stuff anime, manga would not be translated as much. I'm pretty sure a lot of people might confuse even some really famous doujin comics or manga to be really, I feel a lot of people feel they're really major in Japan too, and reality, which is kind of not.
Yeah, the idea of what's popular in Japan and what's not is very not accurate.
Yeah.
It's very not accurate generally in the West. A lot of people have very skewed ideas.
Okay, so
I don't know where some of it comes from. Someone once got into an argument with me trying to say that like Danmachi was like super super popular, like more so than it really is in Japan, and I was like, no, I'm not sure where you heard that.
Okay, sorry, I might not even know, like, what was it? Danmachi?
Yeah, Danmachi.
Danmachi. I'm using my iPad. あ、男女に出会いを求めるのは間違っている
Yeah, that one.
だろうか。Oh, this one? I mean, I wouldn't say it's not popular, but I honestly wouldn't probably say it's like major either.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's like not popular, but like the way they were talking about it to me, like they were like talking about it like, yeah, it was like I can't remember the whole conversation, but they were like, yeah, like it's like one of the most popular anime, and I'm just like, no, it's not.
Oh, so yeah, I think like one of the biggest ideas of like anime is even different too, because for us Japanese, we grew up watching anime, but like not the type of anime that I feel like is seen on Twitter.
Yeah, no, it's like,
and stuff, you know?
yeah, no, because it's like when people like will be like, yeah, this is like the most popular anime in Japan. I'm like, I'm pretty sure like the most popular, if you look at ratings, are ones like you never hear about.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, think of it, like Doraemon,
yeah,
or like Detective Conan, or like, I don't know. I mean, obviously like, there's Pokemon and stuff, but there are those series that is like so famous and so popular among so many generations, including kids, that they come up with movies every single year. So
yeah, it's interesting. It's very interesting though.
Yeah, and I feel like, I mean, I don't want to sound negative by like saying this, but I really do feel like a lot of the kid-friendly, or like a lot of people consider anime to be like for more like adults, not really like for kids, even though like, you know, Jump anime, for example, are just really for kids. But then I also realized, because I do try to sometimes like watch anime with English subtitles on Netflix. I know that sounds weird, but it's just to like try to brush up my translation skills and see like how other people translate certain things. And I realized that they put like foul language, or like, you know, F words, and I'm like, this is a kids show. You're not supposed to put those words in. And it's on Netflix. Like, it's not like, you know, I'm watching it through a weird website, or like, you know, like just random people translating it. And so I think that was the biggest thing that I feel like I picked up. What do you think about, like, what do you think?
I have a lot of opinions about how stuff gets translated. I have a lot of opinions.
Okay, let's hear it. It's okay. As long as I don't get, like, my channel doesn't get banned, I'm good, so.
Yeah. It's complicated, I would say.
Okay.
Dealing with translation is probably the hardest thing when it comes to anime in the West, because it's really hard to get it right. It's really, really hard to get translations right, and there's no way to make everyone happy.
Yeah, that is so true.
And I would say the biggest issue you have within translating for anime is you have two sides to it within it. You have people that want to be very, like, they're like very strict with how they translate to the original dialogue.
Okay.
And then you have the ones who take more liberties than they should, and there's not many who know how to toe the line of nuance.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
And a lot of it comes from the fact that the people who work on translating anime don't get paid worth anything. So the people who are actually good translators aren't usually translating anime.
Oh, I mean,
unless they're doing it as a hobby. So unfortunately, it's one of those things that the quality job for anime is usually not super great. but it's just like, but you get the people who are like, who get mad over like, quote, you know, like localization, but it's like sometimes it's not actually done poorly. It's actually done according to the nuance of the Japanese, right? It's like, well, this line doesn't translate. You have the nuance here, though, right?
Like
it's the line that you can't translate.
A whole paragraph or just one sentence.
Well, it's just like sometimes you do have to like translate things in a way that like makes sense to the viewer while keeping the nuance.
Totally agree.
I could not give you an example offhand, but I've seen it so many times, and it's like I'll see people getting mad over it. I'm like, honestly, I don't see the issue with that. Like, it's not an inaccurate translation. It's not a literal translation, but it's not an inaccurate translation, right?
Yeah, and I totally agree with you on that, because I tried to do some translation work in the past. I don't like calling myself a translator, because I don't like, that's not my main job, but like I
am absolutely not a translator.
Yeah.
At all. And like yoroshiku onegaishimasu is a really good example of it, right?
It's like
there's a lot of ways to translate.
It just doesn't make any sense in English.
No.
Because it's just more of a cultural context thing. Yeah.
It's something that came up in my Discord recently, actually. I forget what the translation for, but it was like they were watching something, and I guess it was translated as like thanks for the flowers or something like that. And they're like, that seems like it's not a right translation. I'm like, I mean, depending upon the context, I could see it getting translated that way, right? Like, it's not you could argue that it's not a correct translation if you're arguing about being literal about it, but like with how it gets used in Japanese, right? Like there are contexts in which like
and I think like to make it super simple, it's just even like the difference between like hello and konnichiwa, although they are considered the same on the dictionary, but in reality like the usage and the meaning behind them is very different.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like, you know, how, like, you know, it's like whenever I go to DJ an event, you know, we all meet up and say, you know, instead of hello, or like, you know, like, you know, you don't say like, come on, or anything. It's always, you know, yoroshiku onegaishimasu as a greeting, and it's just kind of like, you know, if we were to like translating that for like an anime or something, you know, it'd be like, you know, if someone were to translate it as that, like, you know, hello, like, it would be, like, not necessarily wrong, right?
I think, like, the not necessarily wrong is the important part. And I was about to say, like...
Yeah, I mean, it really depends on context. Like, the context is the really important part. And it's just kind of like... People who don't know Japanese really don't know how contextual Japanese is, right?
Yes. Like, I know a lot of, like, anthropologists and even linguists might disagree with the idea of, like, a high context language and a low context language and whatnot, but I really think that's a thing. Japanese is such a high context language.
I don't know, I feel like anyone who's spoken Japanese, like, for any period of time knows how contextual.
Yeah, like, we just don't say things, and people get mad over it, but for me, it's sometimes like, but, you know, like, you're supposed to understand what I'm trying to say. So that's why all the like miscommunication and misunderstanding happens, and people get mad over each other, and at the end of the day, it's just cultural difference, and we both are supposed to be, you know, like, understanding of each other and everything. But...
Yeah, it's just like, I don't know, like, there's definitely a lot of like really bad translations, and then there's a lot of translations that are just kind of like, well, I wouldn't translate it this way, but it's not the most egregious thing I've seen. Like, it's not necessarily wrong, it's just I don't think it's the most accurate way to translate it.
Yeah.
Right? I feel like there's a better way to word it, and you could probably argue that it's more of an editing issue rather than a translation issue a lot of the time.
Yeah, I feel
Like,
I can feel
a
that.
choice
Yeah.
of words rather than an actual like
Yeah.
translation issue. But
People probably
like,
get the context right. It's just that, like, and like even in English, not just Japanese, there's different levels of words in terms of like who you would use this type of word to.
yeah, exactly. But it's just like, yeah, I'm not a honestly, I can't translate even half the things I say to people in Japanese.
No, I always like I sometimes even forget both Japanese and English, so I'm like an alien. So you're at least better. Like,
No,
at
I
least, like,
feel that.
speak English.
No, I got into a few. Well, because last time I was in Japan, because I ended up being around so many like English speakers last time that I was having to like translate for it. There's a few times I got into situations where, like, I don't even know how to translate what I said to them in English for you. I'm like, sorry.
Yeah. 'Cause sometimes like the two languages are so detached, and sometimes they're together, and it's just kind of weird. But yeah, so I kind of
Yeah, and I'm never thinking about what I'm gonna say in English first. So it's just like I just kind of spit out whatever I'm trying to say in Japanese, and it's just like,
as long as it makes sense, right? As long
yeah,
as
and
you
I'm like,
can
I don't even know what I
communicate.
just said.
Oh yeah, but so like in terms of like translations and like not being paid enough, I feel like I can see a lot of similarities between that and the English education system, like here in Japan. Like, I'm pretty sure you know what the JET program is.
Mm-hmm.
And like I hate to say this, but I'm totally like super against it. And if any of you are trying to get into Japan through a JET program, I'm sorry, but like I'm really against it. But like the reason is simply because I don't think it is good for anybody. People don't get paid enough if they're gonna come into Japan and become an English teacher. But at the same time, like the students are not gonna be like good, like be taught well, because imagine a teacher who might be a native speaker of the language but doesn't know a single thing about teaching or like grammar, because you usually don't understand the grammar of your mother tongue. But then there's
I've noticed that with it, and I'm just like, honestly, like, because like I'm trying to move to Japan, but like everyone always brings that up, and I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. It seems awful.
Yeah.
Because like I think about it, I'm like, I would be a terrible teacher. Like, I get people asking me for advice on Japanese. I'm like, I've never opened a Japanese textbook in my life. Like, what are you asking me for? I can't help you at all.
Yeah, like
I've had the weirdest way of learning Japanese. Like, I cannot offer like any advice.
I'm pretty sure you can a bit, but wait,
I mean, a little, but like, because people ask me like, how do I get started with like learning Japanese? I'm like,
well, come to next time. Send them to me. I want to give you an 8-hour lecture on it, but
I actually have sent quite a few people to watch your video.
Really?
I'm just like, I don't know. Watch my friend's videos. She's got fun videos.
Oh yay!
Like, yeah, no,
for
like
spreading the word. Wait,
because like I've literally never done more than look at a dictionary and talk to you, I guess.
Yeah, do that.
Yeah.
Wait, so sorry, I got a really interesting comment saying like Jets get like hecka paid now. Jet into NTA, native teacher of English is good pathway. Yeah, like that. I feel like if okay, sorry, I don't want to like sound too weird or like too much, but I think like there's plenty of good people who are qualified even like enough for being an English teacher, and not just in Japan but any countries. But then I think the problem is that there's a lot of, I wouldn't say a lot, a certain percentage of people who are always there to misuse the system, and like I've encountered, I guess, a few so-called teachers who would come into Japan because they want like a Japanese girlfriend or something, or like they would be really weird about their female students, and so like, yeah. I'm not saying that all the people who are into the program is bad. It's just that there's pretty sad, there's a pretty sad situation of like actual people who are misusing
I've
the
met
idea of
way
it.
too many people who are like that going to Japan and just like stay away from me.
I think,
But
we're
also,
like
I feel like-
type of people.
But also, I feel like there's also the like reverse side of it too going on. Because I've heard a lot of like horror stories on the like reverse side of like, not necessarily like through like, you know, the Japanese schools, but like some of the like language teaching centers like taking advantage of jet students
Oh yes.
for their visas.
There's a really bad.
Yeah.
It has become such a sadly like huge problem. It's not just the JET program, but also like I don't know the English equivalent word of it, but like even what's the word? See, I forget both Japanese and English sometimes. International students. Like, what's the word for that?
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of people who tries to like use them, and that's the thing, like when there's not much of a language development, or like when people don't understand enough of the language and there's a huge language barrier, people might not even realize that they're being used like for you know, not for their good, until they get to a certain point in their language development, and they'll be like, wait, no, this is not right. And it's really hard because it's like when they come to that point, it's kind of like, you know, they're a bit too in the bad system, and it's really hard to get out of it.
Yeah, it definitely seems like that. It's unfortunate.
Yeah. Well, we're not here to talk about like the Japanese educational system. Sorry. I always like I have to always be careful because I always end up talking about these stuff, but yeah. But yes, translators. Japanese publishing companies should realize how much money they might be able to make by hiring good people. Skillful people.
There's just not much money in it in the first place.
I know. I don't even know like where they are supposed to start to fix it. I don't
know either. Like, honestly, at this point, it's gonna be awful of me to say this, but
Okay, go ahead.
I've kind of stopped buying. I've stopped buying English manga almost entirely at this point. Just because it's just so not worth it to me. I mean, partially because of I had a recent thing with buying books and finding out they were censored afterwards, which was very frustrating. But they're so expensive to buy in English.
Yeah, I figured. Well, first of all, I feel like books itself are a lot cheaper in Japan. At least, like, that's one thing I realized when I was studying in the States. Like, it didn't matter if it was a textbook. Textbooks are crazy expensive. I was like, how are you supposed to study when just a single textbook is that expensive? But
well, I mean, that's true, but like, the price for manga has shot up significantly.
really, like, I mean, we're not gonna bring up politics, but like,
well, no, like,
in the
I
course
mean,
of
it's
how many
like,
months,
I
even?
think it's like, it's about $16 per volume now for manga.
Wait,
here.
sorry, what?
Yeah, like, so it's like, what, 2,400 yen per volume?
Really?
Yeah.
Is it just like, you know, the whole tax thingy? I'm not gonna bring up that certain
No.
but not that.
No, it's just, I don't know what the cause is.
Really?
I don't know if the licensing for it's gotten more expensive, like, just general everything's getting more expensive, so like,
Well, yeah, true.
but yeah, it's just kind of like, it's genuinely cheaper for me to just buy Japanese volumes, like, you know, even if I have to pay taxes to import them, it's cheaper for me
Yeah,
to
well,
just
crazy.
do that, because it's just
I
like,
feel like that might be one of the biggest differences in like the cause of how the culture evolved, because like here in Japan, as you know, like it's not that expensive, thankfully. Like if you go to like, if you want like a jump manga, it's like, 600, 800 yen. That's like what? Sadly, Japanese yen is weak, so I'm guessing like $4, $5. Guessing, maybe.
Yeah, the manga I bought recently, I returned it. It's one of the first times I've ever had to return a manga because the chapter I bought it for was not included.
Really? What?
Yeah, they didn't advertise.
Right?
Yeah, they didn't advertise that it was not included or anything. No mention of it.
I mean, well, sadly, we can't really like put a finger on what's wrong with like anything because nobody really knows.
I mean,
crazy.
I can take a guess as to why it was excluded.
Okay. Okay.
I can take a pretty good guess as to why it was excluded. I was kind of surprised they licensed that the anthology in English because of those chapters. But they didn't mention anywhere that they were excluded until I got them, and it's like, oh, they're not there. And it's kind of like, okay, well, I'm gonna return these. It's like, I don't want them. I literally bought it just because of this one author's work, and they're not in here. It's a anthology series with like 16 different authors.
Whoa. Insane.
But I was able to buy like the entire series for the price I paid for just one of the volumes in English.
Yeah, that's just like crazy.
But I was like, you know what? I was just like, I'll just buy this one in English. I did it because I got the free shipping for some other stuff I was ordering, and I was just like, I'm kind of like, okay, I wouldn't mind seeing more of these get translated in English, and it's just kind of like, well, so much for that. I'm just gonna stick to buying it in Japanese, I guess.
Yeah. This is why everybody learn Japanese, import, because it turns out that it's cheaper.
Yeah, because I just ordered all the volumes off of Surugaya for because I got them used for like 200 yen each, so I was able to get like all 5 volumes for the price I paid for one.
Just sounds so much better.
Yeah, I was just kind of like, all right, I'm just gonna go import all of them because I can then have the chapters I wanted, and yeah. Well,
that kind of reminded me, like, so I feel like in Japan there's this idea of like buying multiple of the same stuff, including manga, so that you can keep one to like just keep it, cherish it, treasure it. One is for like, sharing it to others.
Yes, the Kunata method.
Yeah. I never watched Lakista, but I heard that it's a thing. Yeah, like one for you to read and stuff. But like, it sounds like you really can't do things like that if you are not living in Japan, I guess.
Listen, I couldn't even do that if I lived in Japan.
I mean, there's a lack of space, and like there's some stuff expensive.
Listen, I have I don't know offhand, but I think it's close to 2,000 volumes manga. Like, there's no space for more than one volume, one copy.
Very different type of problem there.
I don't keep duplicates.
Well, if you're not like Shimo-san, you might want to keep duplicates.
Yeah, I don't keep duplicates. There's no room for that.
Yeah.
The bookshelves are very full.
Well, I just moved them. A lot of my books are still at my parents' house, so gotta move them somehow, someday. But
yeah, some of my friends have been like, "If you move to Japan, where are you gonna put everything?" I'm like, "I will find.
You will find a storage unit just for that.
If I have to, but like,
yeah, sounds like it.
I just need to get a bed that's tall enough, and like, I can shove things under my bed.
Oh my goodness. Did you know that like people get charged, like fined, because they put too much books and it like breaks the building floor?
Oh, that's crazy.
I know, so make sure you get the ground floor. If you ever move.
In my defense, like 1,000 of them are doujinshi, so they're actually like very small.
Thinner.
Yeah, they're thin books, so we're good there.
someone saying, Dario-san saying, if you want to get rid of a book, I'll buy from you. Seriously, LOL. Now you have to ship it to Argentina. Yeah. 2,000 copies of the same one volume. Oh, but that kind of like reminded me about something. So I mean, you know, like when I was younger, like when I was in high school, maybe not high school, but like junior high school. Well, it still is, but I think a lot of people have this misconception that, like in Japan, otaku culture is like embraced. Everybody loves that. But in reality, a lot of people actually don't. Like, a lot of people still look down on it. A lot of people still think like, you know, it kind of happened because of, like, kind of because of media, but there was a really bad, like, crime that happened. Like, you know,
yeah.
And they kind of like showcased, I don't even think that's the right word, but like the criminal, the suspect, to be a otaku, like, you know, into anime, into manga, and I feel like that really did play a huge role in the idea of how otakus were in the early 2000s, late 1990s, I believe, because, well, my father is a huge otaku, so I can tell that it just got into my genes, DNA. But like he's the OG, like, you know, OB type, like he's the original, like he grew up with the development of the internet type, like he would make his own computer, like he was one of the first kids that would, you know, grow up playing like Dragon Quest or like Final Fantasy or like watching Dragon Ball and stuff, because he's old. Like older than us, way older than us. But then, like, the thing is, like, when I'm from a pretty old family, like my father's side of my family's like really old, and like, you know, the type that you might kind of see in anime, not to a certain extent, but like kind of like that. And so whenever we would have like relative, like family gatherings, I could tell that he was the outcast, even though he's kind of weird, so I wouldn't blame my relatives for doing that. But like, I could tell that like a person like him, like, you know, otaku, would not really be seen as normal in a sense. But then,
I mean, I've never been seen as normal either, so it's understand. I can
mean,
relate.
Like, we're VTubers. Like, there's nothing that can categorize us as being normal, I'm pretty sure, but but yeah, I mean, he is like, yeah, there's a lot of things that he does that I personally don't agree with either, so like I really can't blame just relatives, like he has his own stuff. But but then the thing is, a lot of things has been changing like really rapidly in the recent years. Like when I was in high school, I went to all-girls school, and so like I feel like when you go to
No, I've definitely seen that. I've noticed it.
Yeah. So like when you go to all-girls school, I'm pretty sure it's not for all-girls school, but like at least my school, there's no such thing as bullying. Like everyone is actually really friendly to each other type. Like there will be friend groups, but it's kind of like you can kind of jump off friend groups, if that makes any sense. Like it was a really nice place. I loved it. But maybe unlike other schools, I feel like there's this idea that all-girls school, like you're kind of accepted. There will be the, you know, gyalus, there will be the otakus, and somehow everybody's actually friends with each other. And so I think that is the beginning of how I turned into an otaku anyway, because I was banned from watching anything like or reading manga growing up. But then I feel like during COVID, especially with the rise of Demon Slayer, Kimetsu no Yaiba, I really feel like that was the turn point. Like a lot of people started to be get really into like anime and manga and games, even if they weren't into any of them in the past. And I feel like this culture started to be a little bit more generally accepted. Until that, it was not really a taboo, but people probably wouldn't like go out and ask others about their favorite anime, unless that they could tell that the other person was also an otaku. And then I feel like the idea of otaku, like, you know, there's this idea that people are not fashionable and people are kind of like stinky, don't take a shower, which some people really don't, so please do, everybody in the chat. Like, that kind of turned into otakus can actually be fashionable, or like, there's even, you know, influencers who, or like, you know, idols who openly share that they are into anime and manga, and so I feel like that's one of the biggest differences that I am seeing these days between like the Western culture. I wouldn't like say Western otaku culture, but like in Japan it's getting so much more broad.
Yeah, I've been seeing that trend within Japan since I would say before 2020.
Oh really?
Yeah,
because I wasn't in Japan before 2020, so yeah, I definitely missed that.
I've kind of seen it not directly, but kind of remotely, just through the lens of just my experiences through like the doujin scene.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah. Well, because I've been involved in doujin music for a long time, right?
Yes.
So it's like I've kind of seen the like just gradual influx of people into doujin music, and the growing of otaku music in particular, since I'd say like 2015, 2016 is when there's just a huge influx of like new people.
Oh, I kind of do remember that. Well, I mean, I don't want to like really share my age, but like that's kind of like when I was in high school. So
I mean, yeah, that was like there was a crowd of like high school people, like it was like Ujiko generation of students, I guess you could say. I don't want to get too specific because it's so many people I personally know. Alright, and it's so many people who are like personally connected as well. But it's just like I knew a lot of them as they like came into the scene and like just kind of like pushed a lot of that kind of music and just kind of like watched. I kind of got a front row seat as like that music kind of took over, and like through that kind of saw the changes on the Western side through the viewpoint of like the Japanese side, I guess.
Interesting. So I definitely am not that familiar with like the music scene in terms of the doujin scene. But like, so
yeah,
I do follow a few like doujin music, like, you know, I don't like music makers are definitely not the right term. How should I call them? Is there a term?
I mean music makers. It's
okay,
fine.
Music maker. I do follow a few, but like one thing I realized, at least like in Japan, is that a lot of them do start indie and like, you know, like start sharing their stuff on like, you know, komike or Nico Nico Doga, because that was obviously huge. But then once they kind of start getting a big audience, they would just like, you know, go to a major label company and make a contract, and they go like, you know, everywhere. But that's just like my very like small idea on it. So like, what is it actually like?
Depends. It just really depends on the artist. Cause like I know some of them who have their hands everywhere. They're everywhere.
Okay.
Like I have one friend, so they've been active since 97, I wanna say.
Oh wow.
And they're everywhere. And they've got all kinds of aliases.
Okay, so aliases. That's what I was gonna ask.
Well, not just like they've just used a lot of different aliases, but like, they're kind of. I'll just find them in the weirdest places. Like, I only kind of recently like found out they did a official remix for One Piece back in like 2004.
Excuse me, what?
Yeah, I was like, excuse me, what? Yeah,
so
like
cool.
there's a whole group of them that did a bunch of these remixes for One Piece, and it was like, what?
Wow.
Like, all right, guess I'm buying these One Piece singles for their remixes because they're so good. But like, okay, like that's wild. But yeah, no, it's like you'll just see them pop up in the weirdest places. Like another one of my friends, like he does doujin music just because like he does it as an outlet because he gets to write the music like he's super into, right? But his day job is he's a studio engineer for a major game studio in Japan, right?
Yeah, using his skills, right? For sure, that's cool.
Yeah, so like he does, like, he works on a lot of like anime and games and like for different artists and stuff all the time, and then like like the music he does is really good, but the album art is always really really wild.
Okay.
Yeah. And yeah, it's really, I got to meet his artist my first time in Japan, because he was helping the artist for like his covers have a booth at an event, and I went there to meet up, and he like introduced us, and it was really funny.
It sounds amazing.
Yeah, it was like a R18 Dojinshi event, and it was kind of like just, you know, surrounded by that stuff. He like gives me some CDs, and like we're having this like super serious conversation about music, and I'm just like, this is a very interesting place to be having these conversations.
Sounds like it.
But it was funny because it's like, yeah, he was just hyping up his friends so much. Like, it was really funny. I love how much everyone hypes each other up in the Japanese scene, because like you don't get that like really at all in the Western scene. Really? Yeah, no, like he's like introducing his artist. He's like, yeah, like, do you know like D4DJ and like I don't know. He's like, yeah, like he does like their designs and stuff, and I was just like, oh my god. It's like, yeah, he was like hyping up his friends so much. I was like, you're embarrassing the hell out of them, but like, okay.
Well, I do hope that's more like, I like, you know, hyping up is cool, so that's good. Okay, so there's a question in the comments saying like, I'm still trying to figure out what it is, doujin music. Like, so the term doujin itself actually means something like self-published or like fanzine, I guess. Fanzine?
So the way I usually explain it to people, because honestly the hardest part about explaining it in the West is we don't have any equivalent to doujin culture.
Yeah.
So the way I explain it to people is always that it is self-published, non-commercial.
Yeah, that makes sense. Self-published, non-commercial.
Yeah, that self-published, non-commercial works that are released at events.
At events, I think that's really important. Yeah.
Yeah, the at events part is actually really important, as is the non-commercial part.
So like people really just make them for fun, really.
They are, and
yeah. I was like,
well, if you look at this,
not just that, but
well, I mean, if you look at the stats, the reports for Comic Head are like 80% of circles lose money.
Yeah. I heard that.
Yeah,
really,
it's like 80%. It's like out of 30,000 circles, like 80% of them are like losing money to be there and sell their stuff. So it's like, yeah, they're there to have fun. Like,
yeah,
you don't go there to like make money, because there's no guarantee you're gonna make money.
True.
Unless you are like ungodly famous, in which case you probably don't even need there to be making money off of it.
That is so true.
Like, if you're big enough to be selling out there, you're probably big enough that you don't need to be there to be making that much money. Right?
It really is just an event to have fun, but
yeah,
wait,
and it's
so sorry to disturb you. I just so like what? Well, I kind of like I kind of get the idea that there isn't a word that is equivalent, but I feel like wait, so there isn't that many like so sorry. I'm trying to gather up my thought here. But like, for example, if you go to Komike, which I don't because I heard it's stinky and I don't like I have stuff to do on New Year's Eve. But I've been to like other events, smaller, I guess. But I think like in many events, people don't just sell like just say like anime illustrated comics or like like they sell a lot of stuff. For example, I have a doujinshi that just features the pi ratio, which I know I don't know math, but it just looked really cool. Or
well, there's a bunch of like burger doujins coming out this
burgers
Comic Cat. Yeah. Well, because Comic Cat is like what is it, like next week, right? So I've been keeping up because I've been pre-ordering a ton of stuff. But yeah, no, there's a bunch of circles that specialize in doing food guides.
Yeah, get those.
and so yeah, so I just keep seeing there's like 4 books dedicated to like burgers, like burger restaurants and like burgers of the world.
Oh, that's nice. Oh, I kind of want
yeah,
that
there's actually one by a VTuber, and like she like goes all over Japan and she like does burger reviews, and she's got cute little illustrations she does of herself.
Yeah. Oh, that's fun.
Alongside them. Yeah, it's really neat. There's a lot of really neat things people do for it, right? But it's just kind of like but it's like I have a doujin ice cream spoon.
Ooh, I like those stuff. Yeah, so it's not just that's another thing. People think it's just like paper publication, but in reality, there's like merch or like other things.
There's all kinds. There's all kinds of things. But I like being able to say I have a doujin ice cream spoon because
that's cute.
It also makes people who don't understand doujin stuff to be like, "Excuse me."
Yeah, like if
I'm like, yeah, it's an ice cream spoon with Blue Archive Girls engraved on it that was sold at Comic Cat, and I bought it because one of my favorite girls is on it. As you do. I do in fact have a doujin golf ball album as well.
Wait, really? You do?
Yeah. Oh, okay. So, some friends of mine released an album with the QR code printed on the back of a golf ball.
Oh, that is cool. I like that.
It's actually cooler because what they did is they also did a bunch of pin badges for it, and it was at Comic Cat. So they actually got a bunch of gacha machines. And they brought them to their booth, right? And so you would just put the coin in and get a golf ball and a pin badge at their booth.
Whoa. Yeah, see, like that's what I like about
and they called it the Flying Golf Ball Attack EP.
Oh, nice. See, like anything is possible. But yeah, so doujin does cover like both fan fiction and original works. Yes.
Yeah. So, and it's separate from indie.
It is different.
I don't, because some people try to be like, oh, it's just like indie, except it's really not. And I don't like to mix the two because, like, indie artists, indie labels are like a label and a thing in Japan.
And
so if you start mixing the two,
more professional, like people actually do it for work type.
Well, yeah, and it's they're commercial endeavors versus non-commercial, and it's a big distinction because for the non-original works within doujin, it being a non-commercial endeavor is what makes them allowed to do the non-original works.
Well, I'm gonna say this because I'm still, I would say, like a fairly smaller VTuber, and I am not going to get in trouble, hopefully, for saying this, but like, if you just pinpoint on like the fan fiction part of doujin, it's a very gray, like,
no, I mean it is very that's why a lot of the companies.
Well,
yeah, well, that's why companies have the guidelines that you have to follow.
Yes. And one thing I actually
And
saw,
one of them is that you can't do commercial works with it.
exactly. And so I think
that's
one
why
of the biggest differences in culture.
But that's why I always specify non-commercial, because they allow it for Comic Cat, which would then mean that it would be considered a non-commercial setting.
Right.
But that's also why when they sell out, they don't ever print anymore.
Yes. And I also there was a tweet made by a Japanese artist saying that it feels like it was a lot, if obviously everything is great. If the original creator says no, then it's a no. Everybody drops their pen and stuff. But
yeah, exactly.
One thing that I saw again on Twitter, so it's not it's just Twitter, but was that this Japanese artist was saying that it feels like, for example, when a female, again, it's just general, in a sense, I guess it's generalization. So, it's not like I'm saying that everybody is, and I'm pretty sure she wasn't saying it towards everybody, but just felt like female artists, female doujin artists, they would only sell, just say that they would print out their books, right? And it costed them 3,000 yen to print out their books. They would only charge 3,000 yen for each of the doujin books that they would be selling. They really will be zero profit, even including their transportation fee or the money that, the amount of time that they have spent, because I feel she felt not me, but it was, the idea was a little bit more dominant in the female industry, that they were just borrowing the idea from the original creator, so they really are not supposed to make a single profit out of it, including the amount of time they worked on. But then it felt like that idea was not as strict in the male industry, especially people who would make rated R content. So I just don't know, I thought that was a bit interesting in terms of the difference, even within the same, I wouldn't say industry, but group.
I don't know if it's a gender thing in that regards, but there's definitely there's definitely a split in mentality with that. Even on the music side, for example,
really?
there's a lot of artists that'll do bootlegs and they won't share them at all. Or they won't release them at all, right? Because they're just well, I don't have permission to share these, so I just don't. But then you have the artists who are all their albums are just bootleg albums that they release, right? So some artists are yes, I will only release my tracks if they're original tracks. And then you have the other artists who it's they only make bootleg remixes, and that they just release all of them. And it's just kind of you kind of just have the duality of it. Everyone just kind of has differences, and it's just kind of you just kind of gotta be okay. I've got such a diverse range of friends as far as their views on a lot of this stuff, right? On the music side of things, I have friends who they don't releasing their music.
They just making them?
Yeah, they just writing music and stuff. They just have weird things about releasing their music. So they'll send me their tracks and I'll get permission to play them in my sets, but I have dozens of tracks from artists who've never released either anything or maybe one track or something, and it's just kind of
yeah, that is interesting.
It's wild sometimes. It's I knew a guy who wrote 500 songs over the course of 2 years. He never released any of them.
I was about to say, that's one songs in 2 days or less.
Yeah, no, he was just pumping them out. He was doing a song every day or every other day. He was just in the groove. And
I mean,
think I have
being
like
in a
half
group
of
for
them
2
or
years.
something or something. Yeah, no,
That's
like
amazing. I need that for my video editing.
you're just like sending me and he'd be like, hey, check this out. I'd be like,
Wow.
cool.
Dang.
But yeah, after a few, I think he released like 20 of them, like after a few years.
Well, I'm pretty sure
But
it's
yeah,
all
no,
extra good because out of 500,
yeah, and then other people just like release everything. They're just like, they put everything out there for free, or they'll just put everything out on CD as they make it. It's just like, yeah, everyone's just kind of got their own ideas, like what they want to put out there. Artists are weird.
Yeah, true. Artists are weird. I'm pretty sure we can all agree on that. Okay. Oh,
I have my own
actually did
stuff
have
that
a
I'm just like,
question.
I make things and I don't want to put out.
Pretty sure we're all like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a comment saying, if I remember correctly, Japan has no such thing as fair use laws, which I do have some questions on, by the way. And companies just willingly allow people to make fan works if they don't break guidelines. It's why doujin artists and fans treat guidelines so seriously. Companies can lawfully go after them. This is so true, but okay, so I have... It's not like I've made doujin, like, fan stuff before, but I have helped people, like, make stuff. And like, so yeah, Japan doesn't have fair use laws, which is why certain things are like, you know, like commercial use friendly, like irastoya, and we're all like benefiting from it, thankfully. But so I don't know, like there's obviously, I'm not saying that everyone's like this, but it's like a lot of people do keep the guidelines really carefully because they don't want to be, you know, like sued. But I feel like there's this idea within a lot of the Japanese people that like content is of the original creators, and like because of that, even after copyright laws, you know, what's the word for it? Even after, just say like a certain something was made, even when something doesn't have to be protected by copyright laws anymore because of the time that it was created, a lot of people still like find it very almost like, well, I'm gonna just use it for defensive for the original creator because I'm that way too.
I would say that's very Japanese.
Yeah, like
in general,
I realized that.
I think I have more. I have a lot of good examples from music for this.
Okay, I'm all ears.
Yeah, a really good example actually in regards to this is the fact that it's actually really common for specific occasions for artists to put out songs for free download for like a day or two.
Oh.
Like on Christmas, some artists will put up 24-hour limited downloads.
Whoa.
And remove them. And if you miss the downloads, most people will not re-upload them for you.
Really?
Yeah.
Even if you pay?
And no, like it's considered rude to like if it's not the original artist, right? Like if you're asking someone else who downloaded it, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's like no, like you gotta ask the original artist, and if the original artist says no, then like no.
Yeah.
You're out of luck, right?
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
On the Western side, it'd be like, yeah, why wouldn't you be able to just share it around? It was a free download,
Oh really?
right? Yeah, no, that's a very like common sense
Okay.
mentality on the Western side, and it's caused a lot of issues over the years. As you know, there's been the crossover between the Japan and Western side in music, because there's been artists who release tracks for free and then they get put on YouTube and stuff, and the artists are like, hey, just because I put up my tracks for free download doesn't mean you're allowed to like re-upload them or share them around for free download elsewhere, right? Like you're still my tracks.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying because I'm totally on the artist side, but I also like get the fact that is probably because I'm Japanese. So like
yeah, right? No, but it's like I'm very much of like the same mind. It's something I always have in mind with things. So it's like,
Yeah. Well, I do like,
but
yeah.
it's very much not a thing on like a lot of people would think about, like, from a Western perspective. It's like, oh, it's a free download. Like, why wouldn't you just be able to, like, re-upload it for someone? Like, it was put out there for free.
So
right?
I have tried to understand that, like, you know, because I do think it's important to try to understand both sides, and I failed. So, like, if anybody wants to tell me, like, their opinion, like, I really would love to listen and hear it, even though I do have to say, like, we gotta agree on disagreeing. In this,
honestly,
yeah,
I can't understand it myself.
Yeah.
There might have been a point in time where I could have, but, like, I can't.
Shimo-san's too Japanese-fied, so, like, anybody? But I do see a lot of issues of that too. Again, on Twitter, because in Japan, all otakus are only on Twitter, really. But, you know, for example, like, anime screenshots. Anime, like, for example, in Japan, taking screenshots of anime and uploading that is already considered extremely, like, gray. And so a lot of people are actually even against that, especially since the rise of AI. People have been extra against that. But then, like, in Japan, when, you know, if you trace over an image, for example, like anime screenshots, or obviously other artists too, but, like, there's this idea that, like, you'll probably be blocked by so many people and people are gonna come after you. But then I realized that there's this, like, I feel, I don't know if it's an idea, but, like, if something is made by a bigger corporation or a group of people and not just one person who is a smaller creator, it is kind of, like, okay to, like, reuse their stuff in terms of, like, tracing and, like, making it your own stuff, or, like, selling it. And I'm guessing that is just this idea of, like, you know, the fair use law. But obviously, because I don't understand how laws, including fair use law, really works, I'm not really sure if that's, like, you know, where people sometimes draw the line of. If that makes any sense.
I honestly, from my perspective, it's just the fact that, like, piracy is just so commonplace on the Western side.
Okay.
I don't know if that's entirely fair to say, but that's just kind of been from my viewpoint. That's a big factor of it. It's just, like, that aspect is just, like, so commonplace.
I see. Yeah, well, it's easy for me to say that piracy is bad, but then I've obviously seen people say that, but that's the only way for people to gain access. And so, like, for me, I can easily say that, then, like, you know, contact your original company and they might be able to provide something for you if there's a lot of people who speaks against it, like, not being featured or, like, you know, streamed.
Yeah,
it's
complicated.
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of just avoid all of it, but it's like, for me, I don't really try to think about it when it comes to company stuff, because when it's like,
no, yeah.
when it comes to companies, I'm just kind of like,
yeah.
It's a company. my ability to care kind of goes down a fair bit, but when it's like doujin stuff, it's like my caring goes up significantly, because it's like, okay, like, now we're talking about individual people, and that's different. You know?
I see.
And a lot of times it's like friends, and it's just kind of like, okay, now it's kind of personal.
Yeah, that makes sense. Maybe that's another thing. I'm not saying that I'm disagreeing with you. It's just that, like, especially when it comes to anime and manga, like, I think that might be the reason why. Like you said, like, you know, you know people within that community, and I actually know people who works for publishers, who works, like, in, like, how do you say, not like publishing companies, but people who actually, like, print out stuff and, like, bind them into making books, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, part of it is just like there's complete inaccessibility to most Japanese media without piracy. That's an unfortunate aspect of it.
I know.
So it's just very rampant. And this is kind of how it is.
Yeah,
like,
right now.
Oh, yeah, right now. I mean, regardless, that's just the reality of it, right?
Oh, and Dario-san said, the thing is, you can, you call Japanese companies and tell them straight, hey, I like this, sell it to me, and they would just say no. That's what happens in most cases. Yeah. I see that that's definitely the case. But I don't know, like, I think what might be important is for the companies to realize that they can actually profit off of it, because like you said, the original creators, and even again, like, I know people who works in like more bigger major publications, and they really don't make much money, sadly. And so what I think is that they don't even have the time to think about it, or like, because this world of like manga and anime, for example, is so fast moving. Like, it's, you have to keep on getting new ideas, and like if it sells good, then comes the anime, and then like, you know, there might be a game collab, and then there's not enough people, and yet there's not enough money in the industry. So there has to be a way that people can realize that this can actually make money, which is going to profit the industry itself, and the people actually will get paid more, and people won't be called that they work for a black company anymore, because I realize that a lot of people use that to harass, like the term black company, to harass people
definitely.
Companies.
I think that's probably one of the biggest issues, is that there's just there's not enough money in it to like satisfy everyone.
Yeah. And I do hope that people, like, because I think I'm trying to understand both sides, and I am kind of on both sides, but I do hope people realize that there's huge potential. But at the same time, I hope that people also realize that piracy is not giving the original creators or the group of people who are making the creation possible, that, like, to get money, and that's not going to help in any way.
Yeah.
But then there's this idea of like, then how is it going to get better? And then
I think the biggest thing for me that like blows my mind is just like a lot of the sentimentality with it is it's just like so blatant. Right? It's like it's done so openly, and like
like
it's
so
like
true.
People are so proud of the fact they do it, and it's kind of like I would like. It's like no.
No way. You're right. I'm not saying that it's okay, but if you are to do it, I don't want to be embarrassed of it, but like it might be better for you to hide and do it. Type of
it's like, you know, I hear all kinds of arguments like for and against it, and it's kind of like And at the end of the day, what if you do or not is like, I don't really care. I guess if you're gonna do it, just God, don't brag about it. That's just weird. It's so weird. Don't be weird about it, I guess. I don't know. It's just, it's weird. It's really weird sometimes, because like I've run into like DJs and their like entire music library is like pirated, and they're so proud about it, and I'm just like, what are you doing? What are you doing with your life?
That is still interesting though. Wait, so it says, here's a comment. Sorry, I've been really bad at reading comments. I promise I'll read them later, but if you want to like leave comments, I'll try to read them a little bit better from now on. So Dario-san says, some want to gatekeep or protect Japanese culture. They don't want foreigners to interfere or influence Japan. They build a shell around it by not selling. Do you think that's true? I don't know. As a Japanese person, I don't really know. I feel like it really is about the language barrier and like laws, and because
I've been interfering for years now. Like,
okay, here's the thing. I do feel like there's, you know, I see so many. Well, yeah, I see a lot of content made about Japan these days. Maybe because of the thing I do, like, but maybe the algorithm is trying to like tell me to like make content like those. I don't know. But I feel like there's a lot of people who say that Japan has to stay Japan and whatnot, and there is a bunch of like, very extreme Japanese oji-san who would say such things. But I also feel like the majority of the people who say things like gatekeep or protect Japanese culture aren't even Japanese. At least like that's what I've been seeing. Or maybe that's only because the content that does get shared to me is in English, but I don't know. I really don't I don't know that many people, or honestly, I don't know a single person who says things like, let's, protect the Japanese culture by gatekeeping it.
I've met people like that.
Oh, really? There are?
Yeah, I've definitely met people like that. They usually don't know much about Japanese culture in the first
so they're
place.
Japanese. See, that's what I was saying.
If I'm entirely honest, they're usually not very well informed about much of anything in the first place, usually when they say that. If I'm entirely honest from my experiences, but it's just like, I mean, I've seen a lot of foreigners try to come into like the Doujin music scene, for example, and it's just like most don't last, or they don't integrate really. Like they'll make a handful of friends, right? And like they'll kind of do their thing, and then they'll kind of just fizzle out for the most part.
Do you think it's because of like the language barrier or like cultural differences, or like?
Well, I mean, a lot of them never learn the language. Like I've known people who've been around in this scene as long as I have, and they still can't speak a word of Japanese, and it's just kind of like, I mean, I've learned that I've known people in these scenes who've lived in Japan for a decade, and I can read Japanese better than they can, and I'm just like, how?
Yeah, I do personally know people who have lived in Japan for decades who also haven't even picked up like hiragana and katakana fully.
Yeah, no, I'm just like learning that. I'm just like, how do I speak Japanese better than you guys living here? Like, what?
I mean, in terms of that, I'm pretty sure it's not just a Japan problem. Like, I see that in many places. I've met Japanese people who live overseas who hasn't been able to pick up a single language of that country.
I mean, it's fair. But it's like when you're involved in like, you go to like Doujin events, right?
Yeah,
and, like,
exactly. Like you.
Some of them like
community.
some of them like even get booths and stuff, and it's just like they can't language, right? And it's just kind of like, how are you like, how have you been like doing this for years and you still have to like use Google Translate on your phone at this point?
Google Translate. Yeah, I think it's definitely a worldwide problem.
Yeah, but it's why like I don't ever see people like last and
oh yeah,
or like get very integrated, because like yeah, it's crazy. It's really weird, because it's just like, I sometimes think about it, because I'm just like, I don't feel like, because I sometimes think about my position like within music there, right? Because it feels really weird, because I am like so integrated within the music scene. And it's just like, feels weird. Feels so weird sometimes, right? And it's just like, I think about it, I'm like, how'd this happen to me and like not, all these other people? And like, literally the only difference is that like, I learned to speak the language to like the bare minimum degree.
Yeah.
And it's kind of just crazy to think about. It's just like, yeah, like, even if I like trip over my words like 90% of the time, it's like the fact that I like tried to learn to speak the language, it was like That was the difference. Like, that was the difference that it took.
It's the trying part.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm gonna read a comment. All immigrants do this, but yeah, a lot of people aren't willing to put in the work it takes to learn a language. Yeah, so a lot of people don't know this, but in Japan, especially in bigger cities like Tokyo, because many of you might know, but it's only 2% of the entire Japanese population who are non-Japanese, who are immigrants. And which is why Japan is never going to be an English-speaking country, because like, even within the immigrants, most of them don't even speak English. Most of the immigrants are from other Asian countries, so even within them, the language that they will all be able to communicate is going to be Japanese. So, anyways, so because of this,
lesson.
Yeah. Sadly, Japanese is going to be important if you live in Japan. But yeah, a lot of people don't know this, but like a lot of places, especially like, you know, the great Tokyo area, Kanto, or like Osaka, any of those bigger cities especially, or even smaller cities. Like, I'm from a very small city. Not gonna say where, but I'm from Western Japan, pretty rural. And even where I am from, they do free English classes, and not English, like free Japanese classes, and the city pays for it. And so like, I've actually met people who have lived in Japan for a few decades who, like you said, who can't, you know, speak the language. And the thing is, they can't really make those excuses anymore about not being able to pay for Japanese lessons, or like not having enough time, because like, I'm pretty sure people can make 15 minutes out of a week to try to, you know, go to classes, or they don't even have to pay for it. So yeah, there's a lot of volunteers too. There's even this thing called a buddy system, where a Japanese person and an immigrant pairs up so that the Japanese person can fully try to like help them immerse themselves into the Japanese culture, but like helping them with all the paperwork and stuff. And again, that's all free. It's all done by like volunteer work and country money,
to know.
like taxes. So
I guess good to know.
I'm not gonna lie, those buddy systems are like usually only for very few refugees, or like people who come here to study, but still.
I see.
Yeah.
The paperwork starts what terrifies me.
I know.
Because I've been like looking at some of the stuff I could maybe try to find to do for work, and like some of the places I've looked at, I'm like, okay, that's terrifying. I'm just gonna pass on that.
Yeah. Oh, but just so you know, like, because a lot of people, or not a lot of people, but there's a comment saying like I should go to Japan then, but it's not like widely available. It's just that a very few number of like places within, like, you know, again, the greater Tokyo area does it. Because within Japan, 2% are immigrants, but most of that 2% lives in Tokyo, or the greater Tokyo region, or Osaka, or Nagoya, because that's where the huge Brazilian Japanese community is. And so it's like other places in Japan probably don't even like have that stuff. So again, that's another thing. Like, Tokyo isn't really Japan anyways, so, or Kanto isn't really Japan in my opinion. It's very different from the rest of the country. But yeah,
I've witnessed it firsthand.
yeah. Yes, I currently live in Kanto now, but like, it's like living in a different country. Everything is so different. Even the food, the culture of the food is different. Like, language is obviously different, and yeah.
I remember us learning how to do hot pot together.
Oh, I know. Like, the heck is this? Yeah, when we did ofukai, we went to Nagoya, and that was the first time that I went to Nagoya, because Nagoya was only like always just a place that the Shinkansen would stop for me to go to Tokyo. So yeah, it was an experience. It was good though. It was good.
It was. I was just like, how do we do this? I'm like, I don't know. I was like, you know, I assume if we order it wrong, the waitress will come and tell us we did.
True. Yeah, as long as the food is good, we're good.
Yeah.
But yeah. Well, again, Japan's weird.
I was so full that week. Did I ever tell you what happened that night?
Wait, no.
Speaking of that.
I mean, like, I remember that you went to a weird hotel, like not weird hotel, but like backrooms type hotel.
Oh no, that was the year before.
Oh,
that was the year before in Nagoya. No, I went out to dinner with a friend that night as well.
Okay.
I didn't want to eat for like a few days after.
You know,
my friend treated,
but yeah,
and my friend treated.
So.
Yeah, my friend took me to Yama-chan and treated me.
Oh, like the izakaya?
Yeah, the yakitori or the tebasaki.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I was just like, yeah, after we had the nabe, and I was just like, I was already like pretty full, and like, I was like ready to be, I was like, I'm pretty full, and he's like, you should try the ramen, and I was like, no!
Not another bowl of ramen.
He's like, the tonkatsu here is super good.
Why does it have to be like heavy stuff even?
I know! He's just like, they have a small, and I'm like, okay, fine. I didn't want to eat the entire next day.
That's what happens when you have friends.
I know.
Like stuff you with food because we think that's what we have to do.
And that happened like the entire week. I was so like done with food.
Yep.
I was like,
sounds like it.
I don't want to eat.
Familiar. Heard that many times from many different types of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because I did, yeah, because I did that. Let's see, I did, because the first weekend I was there, I did, what was it? I did yakitori, yakiniku, and then yakitori again.
Oh my goodness, like all heavy stuff too.
Yeah, 3 days in a row. And then, yeah, that day was the week after. I was done with food at that point. I was like...
You did well.
Yeah, I was like, I can't eat anymore.
Well, that's the best feeling, you know? Food.
Yeah.
Food coming.
At least got to walk it off, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, wait. That's another thing I kind of wanted to, like... not really talk about, but one thing I realized. Or, well, you have to correct me, because this really might be just me, but do you think, like, people tend to meet up a lot faster, or, like... Because you're the first and actually the only person I've ever did ofukai with. Like... I mean, I have done ofukai in the past, like, but not as a VTuber, and that was, like, I don't know. I feel like because we are told that the person behind the screen might be a creepy old fella who is using voice changer. and so maybe again, it's just might be me, but like, I feel like ofukai isn't as that common, or again, it might be just me, but then, you know, a lot of people, like, especially, well, maybe not especially, but like VTubers, whoever, like, you know, comes to Japan, or like, let's meet up, and I'm like, but you don't even know if I'm safe, you know, like, I might be the worst criminal, like, and you don't know me. But what do you think? Like, is that just me?
I don't know if I have a good perspective for this.
Okay.
Because I spend my whole trip meeting up with people.
Okay, I'll maybe go ask somebody else.
Yeah, I mean, I also, I don't, because like here, I don't meet up with anyone normally.
Yeah.
But in Japan, like I do lives and I do, Doujin events, right?
Yes.
And then I'm constantly meeting up with like, friends and whatnot while I'm there. One of the reasons I'm actually more willing to do stuff like that in Japan is because people are more respectful of privacy there, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
So, like, what do you mean by that?
Well, like, for example, at Doujin events, they actually forbid photography in
things like that. You mean okay.
in the cellar hall because a lot of Doujin artists don't want their photos out there, right?
Wait, so that's not a thing, like, in the States, for example?
I mean, even when places are like, photos aren't allowed, people still take photos.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Why, though?
Because signs can't stop them.
Oh.
Yeah, no, people take photos anyway. Like, they don't care.
Okay.
If someone's like, please don't take photos, we want to remain anonymous or whatever, right? Like, we don't want photos out there. People will actually take that as a reason to take photos.
Rebellious.
Yeah, no, like, more often than not, it's more likely for people to take photos here. Whereas, like, it's like when I do lives in Japan, it's like they will put up an announcement, like, no photos or videos during my set, and people will listen. Like, people will not take any photos or video during my set. And, like, even, like, my friend who, like, did take some video, like, for me at my request was like, I feel weird taking video because, like, no one's supposed to keep, but, like, it's, like, clear I'm, like, here, like, doing it for you, but still, it's, like, even I feel weird doing it because it's, like, not supposed to be. It's, like, yeah.
Oh, wait, no. It's right, though. I'm gonna read a comment. I don't see many people blur out backgrounds or cover faces in photos here. See, like, so, okay. I'm always, like, I feel like I'm always contradicting myself, or, like, not contradicting myself. I'm, like, questioning myself. Because I sometimes don't really, like, know if this is, like, I act a certain way because I'm Japanese, or, again, if it's just because I'm me and I'm, like, very anxious. Like, to me, whenever I post things, I always blur out, like, on my personal Instagram, whenever I post things, I always, like, blur out the background, or not the background, but, like, people and the faces of the people in the background, because it's maybe Japanese people overthink, and I get that is why it's a safer country compared to some. But, like, whenever I post photos, I'm like, but what if people are, hiding from their abusive ex? And what if the photo that I posted becomes, like, the reason why they get caught and they get killed? And that would be, like, the blood of them is going to be on me types. Like, I think about those stuff, like, so it's definitely the overthinking part, but
I don't think I really need to figure out how to do to blur people on my phone. I should figure that out. But generally, when I'm taking photos, I just try to avoid getting people in the photo. I try to avoid getting people's faces in any photos I post online. And, like, if I have people's faces in them, I just don't post them online generally.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, everybody should follow.
Yeah, that's generally.
Don't trust.
Yeah, people. That's like to most of my viewers have probably seen are aware whenever I've shown videos and stuff I've taken in Japan, like I'm actually very, like, I'll, like, literally, like, just point my camera at the ground whenever I take video if people are walking in front of me, because I'm just like, I don't want to have people, like, in the video, right? I'm like, I'll just, like, get a picture of the ground until they walk by. Like, I'm fine with that. Like, I don't really care. Like, yeah, no, I'm like, I don't want to be, like, posting, like, video, like showing video and photos with random people in it. Like, it just feels weird to me to do that.
Yeah.
But
Well, again, Shimo-san's very Japanese-fied, so what can we say?
but I mean, I don't know.
It just like comes down to the idea of individualism and like, you know, collectivism. Like Japan is such a
yeah.
So there's obviously like pros and cons in both, and like we all see the bad side of Japan because of it.
For sure.
But yeah.
Because it's like one thing I know, for example, it's like, you know the group Man with a Mission, right?
Sorry, what was that?
You know the group Man with a Mission?
Man with a Mission? I don't know. Can I look it up?
Yeah, they're a Japanese rock group.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So I've actually seen them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen them actually live. I've seen them live
so cool.
in the US actually. So they don't allow. They ask no one to take photos and videos during their show.
Yeah, obviously.
Because of their masks. They actually have a certain part of the show where they'll be like, yeah, you can take photos now, because they'll adjust their masks where it doesn't show their faces. But I definitely noticed like people were like taking photos and videos, like even though they're not supposed to.
They can like end their career if it goes bad. But maybe that's again like the overthinking part.
Yeah,
maybe
I mean,
I don't trust people enough.
I think their faces are like out there, but it's just kind of weird. It's just like,
yeah,
it says don't take video and photos, and like y'all are out here just doing that anyway. Like, all right.
You know what? I just realized we should team up, and we should like bring in 2 other people who will probably has very different views from us, who can actually debate and not argue, so that we can do an actual debate session.
Oh, that would be fun.
Because anything we say, like, we agree with each other. So like,
I mean, yeah. But like, I kind of expected us to agree on this.
Yeah. Oh. But yeah.
But I mean, it also makes me think of like, because you know, for like idol groups, right? Like they don't allow like photos and videos.
Oh yes.
It was actually something I asked a friend about, because I went to my first Chica Idol show when I was in Japan last year. Slight miscalculation was made when I went.
Okay.
I didn't think about the date and the location.
Oh.
I think I told you about it. It was Halloween night in Shibuya.
Oh yeah. I remember that.
Yeah, I got stuck.
Oh, I got the one place.
Yeah, I didn't think about that aspect of it. But it was one of those things I was like, yeah, like, I was just like, I asked my friend, I was like, I assume like photos and videos are just like not allowed, because, you know, I got there and it was like, there's no like signs or anything, right? He's just, and he goes to a lot of these, like, yeah, like there'll be signs if they are allowed. And I was like, oh, interesting. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's just assumed that they're not allowed.
It's just for the safety. Well, I guess.
Well, no, because you pay to get photos with the girl.
Oh, that.
Right? It's like, yeah, if you want to get photos with the girls, like, you gotta pay for it. It makes sense.
Makes sense.
But a lot of the groups also like will post like video of their performances like on YouTube and stuff. And it's just kind of like, I mean, there's a lot of reasons for it, and it makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
But it's just kind of like,
money off of it.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense why it's like, just as a rule, it's just not allowed, and it makes like it to me. Just I'm like, okay, but you know, I went in there and I'm just like, I just assumed by default it's just not allowed. But like thinking about it, I'm just like, I wonder, like, I just can't imagine like you know, most people go in there and be like, that's not allowed, right?
Yeah, I mean, never been to one, but I'm guessing, yeah.
Yeah, like, but I'd be curious to get like more typical Australian like, God, I so like, yeah, no, I have such a non-standard viewpoint.
Oh, that kind of reminded me of something though. So you know, like, it's not just like, you know, chika or like idol groups, but like you're not supposed to take photos of like rides and theme parks.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, well, it really depends. Like, you know, just take like, I don't know, like Disneyland for example. Because sorry, that's like the easiest theme park I could think of. But there will be like rides that you can take photos of, and there's rides that you can't. And some are for safety purposes, but some are to like keep it secret. Like there's this ride called Swelling, I think, and it has been out for I think like 3 or 4 years, and it's super confidential. And it's kind of like to, you know, like make the first comers get really surprised because I've been on it. Super cool. And I was glad that I didn't have any like pre-information on anything because it was like good type of shocking. But then it's not just like, you know, like big major theme parks, it's smaller ones too. But there's this I believe like YouTuber or content creator who speaks Japanese and who makes content in Japan. I don't like remember the person like at all. It's not somebody that I watch or anything, but there was this time that she made a content about going to an amusement park or a theme park, or I don't know, maybe it was like an inside like game, like arcade theme park thingy. I don't remember much, but there was a sign and they specifically said that, you know, like photos or like, you know, videos allowed inside, and she snuck in a camera, and she actually, you know, got caught and the ride stopped and everything. And one thing that like felt very different to me was that she actually posted that entire like conversation of her getting the scene of her getting caught, because in my mind, like as a Japanese person, I wouldn't just like I will never do such thing, but if I were to do it, like I would not post that because that would get me canceled. You know? And so I think that was one of the biggest, like one of those times that I was like, oh, so it's very different. Like there must be a huge cultural difference, or like the different, I wouldn't say cultural difference, but like difference in how people really like think of things, like consider things. Because I'm pretty sure she didn't really mean bad. Like from what I see, like she makes really cool content too. So I'm pretty sure she's not like a bad person or anything. But so yeah, so I don't know. Another bigger differences type thing I realized.
Interesting.
Yeah. Well, a lot of her, I think, like she makes content about Japan to like overseas viewers, so obviously she wasn't canceled. But again, like if she was a Japanese person who would do that,
so many issues with so much of the content for like I see about that.
I know.
I feel like they're all the same, and all the advice they give is kind of the same, and it all just sounds like terrible advice to me, honestly.
Yeah, and a lot of them are fake. Like, not right information.
That's what it sounds like to me, because, like, God, it, like, I'll hear some of it, and I'm just like, okay, that doesn't sound right at all.
Yes. Yes.
I don't know. It's one of the big warnings I always get about moving to Japan is like, so lonely there. And I'm just like, yeah, but I already have friends there.
Oh yeah, I get that a lot. Well, and I do have to admit, like, I feel like in Japan people don't. Okay, this is just me, but I don't like the word or term like make friends, because people keep on asking like, you know, can we become friends, or how do you make friends type stuff, and I'm like, friends are not something you make. Like, friends are something you become. Like, that's just my take on it, you know?
Yeah, no, I feel that. But I've had people like asking me like advice for how to like meet people in Japan too, and I'm just like, I don't know.
Honestly, I think that's one of the things. Like, it's nicer and easier when you are in a certain community. Like, you know, to see the otaku community, like, just find people who are fans of the same things that you are into.
Yeah, I'm like engage with people, but it's like,
and then the off-guys.
But it's
if you are sure that the other person isn't a serial killer, yes, do off-guys.
Exactly. Well, it's because it's like I know there's like a lot of different like fan groups that'll have like discords, and they'll do like offline meetups, like big group ones, right?
Yeah.
It's like there's a lot of options with stuff like that, and it's just kind of like, I don't know, there's ways, but it's just like, for me, it's just like I don't know, things just happen to me at this point. I'm just like, I don't know, like I think I'll be fine.
But yeah, you're right, like, I don't really want to sound mean, but when there's people who complains about not being able to like make friends, or like Japanese friends, because they have like, you know, English speaking friends but not Japanese friends, I'm like, but you don't speak Japanese. Like, well, why do you expect to make friends with a Japanese person who doesn't speak English when you can't speak Japanese?
Yeah,
or I also see like content creators who does that, like, you know, content creators who come to Japan and like, you know, hoping to make content, but like when you don't belong to a certain community, including like your neighborhood, especially if you live in an apartment, there's no such thing as a neighborhood community, and then if you don't work, you're gonna meet people at work. So like, I kind of get why they get stuck, but like, yeah,
or it's like they only want to stick to people who speak English, and it's just like, you can't do that.
Yeah. And well, I do have to admit, like, I've had people who has come to me and was like, I want a friend who's Japanese, can we be friends? And I, like, to me that kind of also sounds a bit racist. Is that just me? Like, it's kind of like looking at a person just for their race.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't, I don't know about that.
Maybe I'm just being too sensitive at, like, in terms of that. But I'm like, if it's just, to me,
it almost sounds like they're struggling to fit in.
Yeah.
Like, without any more context, that sounds like someone who's like, I live in Japan, but I can't speak Japanese, but I still want to be friends with Japanese people. And it's just like,
and then there's the convenient me who speaks English, who is Japanese.
Yeah, right? But it's just like...
And like, you probably wouldn't have come to me if I didn't speak English. So like, I don't want to be that convenient person who people can turn to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I can tell
it is
that
nice
I'm
that we can speak English.
I know. I know, I'm nice. No,
but also like 99% of the time I'm in Japan, I'm speaking Japanese, so it's just kind of like,
exactly.
Honestly, that is one of the things I've thought about in regards to moving to Japan, is like, I want to make sure I have like a few English speaking friends so I don't go crazy. I have the reverse issue of most people, where like most of my friends in Japan don't speak any English, and I'm just like, I need someone that I can speak English with. Yeah, because does speak English in Japan.
Okay, reading the comments, I know like racism was a bit too far, but like, to say that you are about to move to a country, you don't speak a language, that you're going to look for someone who can help you for free, I feel like that's just like using the person. Like,
yeah,
you can.
It definitely feels like
translators. like I've had people come to me and ask me to like, you know, help them with the translation to go to the clinic because they didn't have the money to pay for a translator, and I was like, so you want me to do free labor even though you know that I have skills for that, right? Like, you know, like, so I think there has to be a line that has to be drawn.
Yeah, like even for like friends, for me, it's just kind of like there's a line.
Yeah.
And on my last trip, that line was crossed.
Oh no!
Really, really hard.
That is no.
Yeah, many times. Well,
friends.
Yeah, like people like inviting themselves out to go out with, you know, group and a group, and then like me getting stuck in the role of the translator, and it's just kind of like,
oh, that sucks. Yeah.
It was awful.
I know, like, you just like don't like the idea of being used, because you can kind of tell, like, there's obviously people who genuinely want to be friends with you, obviously, but
I was just so well, what happened is I had plans to go out with two friends, and then someone invited themselves to go out with us.
Oh.
They happen to be friends with one of the other people, so I don't know how the arrangement happened, but it's like they don't speak like any Japanese, and so, but they're like not considerate at all with how they speak, so they don't consider what they say at all to make sure their English is like simple enough to be understood.
Oh.
So it ended up being a situation where like my friends like turned to me and they're just kind of like, can you please explain like what they're going off about? Because like one of them speaks like basic English, right? Like very, very like basic, very little. And I was just like, okay, I guess I'm stuck translating now because like I'm kind of like, you know, put on the spot, like.
Yeah, that's what it.
Because then I'm just like, I'm not gonna tell my friends like no.
Yeah, because that'll be rude. But you get so drained from it. It's so tiring.
Yeah, and it was like right after the Doujin event, so I'd been like. I was just like, no, I'm like exhausted.
Yeah.
Honestly, like halfway through the dinner, I got into a like really deep conversation with my two friends and just kind of left that guy because I was like, we're way too into this for me to try to translate any of this, honestly.
Yeah, but that's the hard part, isn't it? Like you, like I feel like I would be willing to translate if I wanted that person to be there, but then if the person just invited themselves to be there, it's like a different story.
Honestly, I'm not good enough to translate. It's gonna be honest.
To translate, I probably would.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. Even if I was good enough to translate, like it would have to be my decision to do it. Like, and I did make that decision in one situation I was in. But it was something that didn't require a lot of effort on my part.
Yeah.
It was actually the day after we met. When I went back during the typhoon.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, it was like raining and everything, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, because I was going to a club event that night that my friend was DJing at. And yeah, I got out of the station at Shibuya right in the middle of that typhoon.
Oh my.
My umbrella got turned inside out. I was like, oh no. And then there was like a girl next to me who like was about to go out and her umbrella also flipped inside out. We like just kind of stared at each other like, you too, huh?
Happens. Does that happen?
Yeah. I ended up making it to it though. But yeah, one of the guys that the one English speaking friend of mine from the other experience
okay.
was the one DJing that night, and there was another like English speaking friend that was like there that night, And when we went out to dinner, I specifically sat with them so I could translate the menu for them. But I was like, I made the choice to help them read the menu so they could order food.
Ooh, food is important.
Yeah, also because that was like an easy choice. It was like a small burger place, so it was like there's like 10 menu options. I'm like, this is simple.
Okay, that's
this is not translating conversations.
Oh yeah, conversations are hard.
I don't really have to think about how to translate food things because I can just like be like, ah yes, this is what these things are. Like,
yeah, but yeah,
I don't have to translate sentences. I just know the food names.
Okay, which is good enough. But yes,
yeah,
as the comments say, friends are friends, not free labor. Yes, I sometimes even say no to my own husband, like master. He sometimes asks me to accompany him to do certain things, and I'm like, you're a full-grown adult, you make a good amount of money, I'm not free labor, I'm your wife. So that's just me. I'm pretty sure like other people are nicer, but yeah. I sometimes feel like you can pay me for my time, take me out for actual dinner, and he sometimes agrees, so like then we do that. But yeah, translations are hard. We don't get paid enough. But that's what I think.
Yeah, I generally don't ask my friends for translations. I usually ask them for feedback.
Yeah, I think like, feedback is good because like starting off is the hard part. Like, you know, checking grammar and stuff, that's the easy part. So
I think that I asked a few friends, I think last year, because when I did my CD, right, I wrote a whole like paragraph worth of stuff in Japanese. I was like, this look weird.
See, like I think that's the difference. Like when you are trying to do your part, like when people ask you for free stuff, they're not even doing their part. Like if they would come to me after being like, I actually did contact this translator, but they were booked and I really have to go, and then I will be willing to accompany.
Yeah, but also like spell checking is a little different from translating.
Spell checking. Yeah. My spellings are hard.
Well, it was more. I don't think spell checking is the right way to word it, but I was kind of like, I was looking at like, because I have the thing where it's like, because I read a lot, right? And because of how I learned Japanese, it's like I don't always know the right way to phrase things.
Oh, okay.
But it's like I've read a lot, so it's like I can look at him like, this doesn't look right, but I don't know how to. It's like I don't think this looks right, so let me check with a friend and like see if they think this is right. Like, do you mind telling me if I feel like I said something really weird here.
See, like things like that I can totally do too. You can ask me too.
Yeah, because I'm like, I'm pretty sure it's understandable, but I'm pretty sure grammatically it's wrong.
Well, songs are never really grammatically correct, so I'm pretty sure you're good.
Well, no, it was just like the thank you for buying the CD, like a little tidbit about like the production process type thing, you know?
I see.
Yeah, and I'm like, it was like 99% correct. I think there's like one thing I like had to shift around, and it was like my friend was like, you can pretty much just leave it as is, but like they're like, I would reword it this way, and I'm like, oh, that's what was looking weird to me. But yeah, it's just like I don't know. It's like I don't like when people like, can you like just translate this whole thing? I'm like, that takes so much of my free time. And
that's like actual work day stuff.
Yeah. I'm like, I like you, but like I don't have the energy.
Yeah, not having the energy. Like, yeah, we live in this world where we have to make money in order to survive, and I also want
Like,
to do
if you need me to, like, check it over, like, if it's a real quick check over, like, sure.
Yeah, 5 minutes.
I'll give it a look.
No biggie.
But, like, if I'm needing to, like,
Hours
dig
of
deep
work.
into this, like, no. Like, if
Yeah, for sure.
yeah.
Okay, sorry. So there's this comment that says, I never got to legit make Japanese friends, sadly. I tried to make a good impression and be considerate, but things never lasted. Okay, I actually do have something that I realized about this too. I guess it has something to do with like the otaku culture too, but in Japan it takes time for you to become friends. Like, a lot of time. Like, years. But
Oh, definitely.
yeah, I think that's another thing that people get confused about, because it again, like, it comes back to the idea of, like, you know, people feeling lonely and isolated, and I feel like that's mainly because of that misunderstanding of that culture. Like, even in the VTuber scene, or like, you know, just say Twitter again, like, you know, for example, I mean, I'm pretty sure this is more of like a global understanding, but you know, mutuals doesn't equal to being friends type stuff. Like, you might become Twitter mutuals first, and it might take a lot of time for you to, like, be close, and it might take another 10 years for you to do your very first off-kai type stuff. Like, yeah, it really takes a long time. Like, to me, I realized that a lot of people feel a little bit more standoffish when people, like, just invite you out for a hangout when you've only met each other a few days before. Like, people just don't do that. Like, people, for example, become acquaintances first. I feel like maybe the very concept of friendship is different. True. Sometimes I have friends who considers me as friends, well, not friends, people that I know who considers me as friends, who I only would consider them as people that I know, not even acquaintances.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
definitely very much a thing in Japan as well.
Yeah,
I've noticed.
because like when you're friends, you're really friends. It's more of like a selective group who you have a deeper connection with. And then you have a lot of acquaintances, so like, it really takes time for people to become friends, I guess. Again,
Yeah,
like,
there's-
years.
There's also very different, like, I guess, degrees and boundaries of friendships, I guess.
Yes, that is so true.
I don't know, because there's, like, some people that, like, I would consider pretty good friends, but, like, we don't even talk except some of them I don't even talk to except once maybe every couple months or once a year. But
Yeah.
it's like, you know, I've known some of them for like a decade at this point. You know, on the few occasions we do run into each other, like, you know, IRL or something, well, like, we get super hyped and such, right? So it's just kind of like,
True.
I don't know, that like there's been times when it's like, man, I don't think they like me, and then it's like we run into each other in person and, like, you know, passing each other in the halls at the Doujin event, and they like see me and they like wave to me and they're all super hyped up, and I'm like, oh. I
Cute.
like, yeah, like one of them I've literally not heard from in a year, and then they're like in the hall like waving at me, like so hyped to see me, and it's like,
Yeah.
that's our one interaction for the whole year.
But like, I would still
Like,
consider
okay.
that like a good friend.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, absolutely. It's just like, it just be that way sometimes. I'm admittedly terrible at keeping up with people.
Me too. But yeah, I'm gonna read a comment. Acquaintances, friends, good friends, close friends, lifelong friends are not the same. So I do think that might more be like a Western, like, cultural idea. Like, I'm not saying that it's not a concept that is also found in the Japanese culture. It is, but then it's more the umbrella of acquaintances are a lot wider in Japanese as a culture. Friends
Absolutely.
are like, if you consider a person a friend, like that's already good friends. Not like good friends, close friends in the English word would probably be friends in Japanese. Like, and then just like to make it easier, like I guess like, you know, Twitter mutuals, acquaintances, people that you take classes with, acquaintances, or
it's very unusual to put a label on any of it in Japanese.
Yeah. Yes. You're right.
Like, there's not really any, like... It's not really something you would acknowledge normally.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're right. You're so right.
I think it's something I've only done with, like, a couple of my really close friends on occasion. And I mean, one of that was the first time we met in person, which was, like, after we'd known each other online for, like, 10 years. It's like, okay, that's worth mentioning, you know, making a note of. But, like, otherwise, kind of like, yeah, you don't really...
Yeah, interesting point. Okay, I'm gonna read another comment. My opinion is that people use each other, so friends is a simply a label of how willing are you to let them use you without repayment. I mean, I can see, like, a part of it is definitely that.
Maybe.
Maybe. I still pay my friends when I ask them to do stuff, though. Obviously not like, you know, coming over or anything. Like, I sometimes do ask them for work stuff. But, yeah.
I don't know.
That really might be...
We get in all kinds of dumb shit. We get in all kinds of stupid things when I'm in Japan, so it's like I can't even like I can't even think of an example of like using each other. Like most of it.
Yeah. But friends, huh? Like I think there's another thing like it's a deeper.
Sorry, I just thought of some really. I thought of one of my friends.
Oh.
He's really dumb.
Okay. Okay.
We went to Yakiniku. We were leaving, like, so it was like on an upper floor, and like we took the elevator down, and when we were coming out the elevator, he like hit his stomach and he was like "Doskoi." Like took him
Okay.
And he just did all sorts of dumb shit the whole night. We ended up walking around Ueno Park all night, and he just kept making the dumbest comments all night, and like I was like in tears by the end of the night.
All night, wow.
Yeah, no. just thinking about that, I was just like, yeah, no. Jesus.
Well, sounds fun though.
Oh yeah, no, he's one of the funniest people I know.
I can tell. Yeah, but yeah, friends. I don't know. Friends. Again, I think like Japanese people, we do have a thicker shell than many others. That's for sure. Like, it's not like we do it on purpose, it's just that, like, for example, geography shapes the culture, right? Sometimes, well, many times. So I do think that's just part of it, but yeah. I do have, like, So, like, for example, sometimes you really do click and you do become actual friends, like, in a very short period of time. But at the same time, like, I think in Japan, telling people about, like personal stuff, maybe not personal, like, personal stuff might not be the right word here, but, like, opening up too much is actually considered a bit rude because it makes the other person feel like they have to open themselves up. And again, it's just a culture, but I feel like that might be another reason why it's harder for people to, like, know a lot of a deeper part of you.
Yeah, it's not quite as common to get super deep, I guess.
Yeah. But, like, deep as in just talking about family, even.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know. Interesting stuff, but... Yeah, because I do remember, like, feeling a little, like, weirded out when people would just, like, introduce me as friends. When I was like, are we friends? You know? Which kind of did make me realize that, like, the idea of what a friend is very different. But if a person hasn't left Japan their entire lives, and if Japan really is the only place that they've lived in, I'm like, I guess they can be very weirded out about it, I guess. I thought that maybe it's just a privacy thing. Maybe they just don't want to share. Yes, but yeah. I don't know, like, sharing too much personal information, like, including, like, you know, private things, is considered, I know it's gonna sound negative, but it's not always negative. It's more of like it's something more personal, like it's for you. Like, which can go both ways, good and bad. It's something that is supposed to be more cherished between you, and but at the same time, that is the reason why a lot of people do have a hard time, like, you know, coming out to people about their personal experiences and whatnot. But
yeah.
Well, maybe we just don't trust people that much. I definitely don't. So I feel like it just takes a time. It's not just about, like, being able to trust. It's more about, like, if you really feel like you can click with the other person or not. I feel like the clicking part might be a very important thing. Like, well, the majority of the people in Japan are introverts, so let's just leave it there.
Yeah, it really depends, because I've definitely met people that I've, like, had, like, very, like, more personal conversations with, and then other people that I don't. And it just really depends. I find it's a lot more common amongst girls to get, like, more personal.
For sure. It's faster too.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if it's common amongst guys or not.
True.
I don't know. I definitely feel like there is probably some divide, just because, like, or there's probably, like, some barrier, just because, like, I'm not a guy, and like most of the people I know in music are guys, so there's probably some barrier there between friendship and things being awkward otherwise. Things we wouldn't talk about, right?
And there's the honne and tatemae comment. Honne, tatemae just has a different dimension that wouldn't be present in a place like the US. Okay, I have so much to say about that. Even in the States, in English, you all actually do have honne and tatemae. It's just that it comes off very differently than it does in Japanese. And in Japan, I do feel bad for people who are not native speakers of Japanese, because I do understand how it is very hard to distinguish. But when people speak in honne and tatemae, we already know that it's honne and that it's tatemae, and it's more of like, it's not even lip service, it's more of like talking about the weather. People are not lying. It's just that it's just a part of the conversation, especially when you're starting a conversation out. And so people know that that's not their true feelings, but not in a negative way. And it's not just a Japanese thing, it's a lot more prominent in like especially East Asian cultures, not just Japan. Like it's not just a Japanese thing. So people know.
Okay at detecting it, I think. I think I'm like 50-50 on it.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of like a good example. Like, just say that, let's say that Shimosan and I are opening a booth and we're selling homemade cookies. I don't know. And if a customer comes and compliments and be like, oh my gosh, I love the packaging, it looks so good. Like, that's, for example, can be tatemae. They're not lying, but they also might be exaggerating. But you can tell that that is just because they want to start up a conversation. Like, that is the actual idea of how honne and tatemae is used. And I feel like a lot of people, especially content creators, translate the meaning behind things, and it really is just to prevent people from being hurt. Like, just say that, you work for a company, you are in a meeting, and you actually don't want to sign a contract with the other company. Like, they might say, ちょっと今は難しくて, we might not have the budget for that. Like, culturally, people, like, the other person can tell that, like, that's tatemae, and they're just trying to be nice, to say no. But then, for those who don't understand the context behind it, I can see why people think it's, like, the honne and tatemae, that thing that is mistranslated. It's just that it all comes down to, like, if the person is trying to be nice or not.
Context.
Yes, context.
Context and nuance, which is so hard.
I don't know. Like, I even can tell that it's already coming off negative when I translate it into English, doesn't it? Like, when I say this in English, I can tell how, like, negative and bad it sounds. It's just that in Japanese, it's supposed to be a positive thing, and it does have a positive nuance to it.
And it's funny, because for me, because knowing the Japanese for it, it's like, I know it's not a negative, so it doesn't sound negative to me. But then when I think about it, I'm like, yeah, I guess it does kind of sound negative in English.
Yes, and I mean, like, just say that a company is actually trying to do business with a company that is from overseas, then they definitely shouldn't use that, because it doesn't make any sense, right? Like, but again, if it's just between Japanese people, and I think here's another tricky thing, like, Japanese people are like, it doesn't have to just be a Japanese thing, but when a person speaks your language, like, you kind of just assume that they also understand the cultural context behind it. Like, like, well, Shimo-san actually does, so I don't have to, like, like, be like, oh, I have to speak in a certain way type thing, but... And so, like, a lot of people who actually do speak Japanese, I feel like they run into this honne and tatemae thing, and they get so confused, and they get almost, like, heartbroken and hurt, because... yeah, people try to use that for a good reason, but it just, like, doesn't translate well, like, at all.
I think for me, the one thing that saves me with a lot of it is the fact that I'm not relying on any English equivalents for anything when I've come into Japanese, because I never properly studied. So I've never worked. I didn't come into the language with like, oh, this means this in English.
Yeah, and it's nice to like be able to connect words and ideas between a foreign language and your own mother tongue or your native like culture. But
it would definitely help me when it comes to translating. But
for sure. And again, like localization, there's a reason why we need that. Because otherwise,
it's why I'm terrible at translating. Because like there's so many times when it's like I can read something and I'm like, I can't translate it. I completely understand what it says, but I couldn't tell you. I couldn't translate it into words in English.
So yeah, tatemae. Oh, would it be correct to say tatemae is just keeping positively formal vibe? If it's used in a business situation, yes. Tatemae would be to save face or try not to be negative. Yes, to save both faces, not just like you and the other persons on the other end of the conversation and the narrative. That's the difference between translating and interpreting. Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, well.
But it is interesting because, like, I'll sometimes read English translations and I can like tell when something's translated really off. I don't remember what series it was, but there's one thing I was reading a while back that I started reading the English translation for, and I was like, this is off. Like something like really, really off with this. And I ended up like getting the Japanese copies for it, and yeah, it was just like it was really, really off. And I just could tell because I was like the way things were phrased. I was like, this is so not. It's not how a Japanese author would like write.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know how to explain it, but it's just kind of like, even from the English text, I can like I usually have a pretty decent idea of like what the Japanese would have been, right? Yeah, it was just like I was just like, this is not how Japanese people write.
Yeah. I think like when it comes to translation or interpretation, like the way that would like be okay majority of the time, like to make things okay, would to have a translator who speaks like who has a knowledge of, or like as much to a native speaker of the original like context, and then translate it to their second. Like, does that make sense? Just say that there's a Japanese manga or anime, get a translator who is a native speaker of Japanese and have them translate that into English. Then like the context will actually be pretty like translated well, but it's just that there's not that many people who can do that. I don't know, like that is actually something that a lot of translators do say, not just in the anime scene, but like for example in Hisae, I'm talking about like language stuff.
Oh yeah, I am talking about I am talking about like ideas, concepts, and tones. Like it should never be the exact words, but it's just like I don't know how to explain it well, but there's a way that like Japanese flows. And it comes through even in translations. There's a way that it's not. Japanese writers don't tell stories in the way that English authors do. It's very different, and the way it was coming through in the translation was like an English author had written it. It was very off. It was very, very off.
Yeah.
And I could tell a lot of liberties were taken with it because of that. Because I was just like, there's just a lot of standard Japanese phrases that there's only really like one or two ways you really would translate them, right?
Yeah.
There's only a handful of ways you can translate certain phrases, right? And they come up a lot in reading light novels and manga, and I wasn't seeing them. And I'm just kind of, this is just off. Like, it was just bugging me. Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense. So, sorry, I'm gonna read a comment. The standard for localization is translators translate into their native tongue. Yeah, which is definitely like the standard, and that's kind of like how everybody do translate. It's just that, so for example, there's this case of like, you know, the French novel The Little Prince. There's an actual Latin version of it, and it is said that there's a translation by this one person who there's multiple Latin translated version of The Little Prince, but it is said that one of the translators' version is actually the most correct and accurate, because the person who translated The Little Prince into Latin is actually French. Like, understanding that entire, like, you know, novel in their native tongue and understanding the cultural context and like certain narratives and, you know, behind it, it is again said that The Little Prince in Latin was translated best by this one translator. And so, like, for example, I sometimes have to come in and like retranslate certain lines of dramas, for example, when I'm watching dramas with my master husband, because they just, like you said, like the subtitles are just so off. It's not just that it's off, it's like the meaning is completely wrong, because one word or a line can mean so many different things. And like, to me as a Japanese person, because of the context, it is so obvious that they're meaning this, A, but the translator translated it as like B, and I'm like, oh no, like you're gonna get this entire storyline wrong for this. So
yeah, I wish I could remember what it was I was reading, but it was like, yeah, they went a little too, the editor went a little too hard on rewriting everything. I think.
Yeah, the balancing is always hard, but yeah. Okay, so with respect to translation, it's really hard with the time crunch, especially subtitles. They don't have room to adequate convey something to someone who knows nothing. Yeah.
Yeah.
If we can, I don't know, try to like make people realize that this is gonna make money. Hopefully they can hire better translators with better money and they will actually do better work. I don't know. We'll see how the future takes us. But
a lot of liberties had to be taken with older translations too for subtitles.
Yes, I bet. I mean, it's not even translations, but I heard the horror story about, like, you know, Pokemon and like what was it, like jelly-filled donuts.
Oh, well, that's a different issue entirely from what I'm talking about. No,
oh, okay.
So the subtitle standard for like DVDs and stuff had a lot of limitations with it. So like,
oh, really?
You could only have like so many characters or such, right?
To fit in.
Yeah. Like, you had a limit to what you could actually realistically fit in the subtitles.
Okay, that sucks.
So sometimes the translation and how it was interpreted had to kind of the liberties, like, you had to make changes to fit. You know.
Yeah, like forcefully fit.
Yeah. It's like, if the whole, like, yeah, like, the physical limitations. Like, it's not really an issue now,
Yeah.
but, like, it was definitely an issue in the past.
I see.
Yeah, someone in my community used to do subtitling
Oh, really?
professionally.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
they've got
cool,
some.
but that's sad.
They've got some fun horror stories, and I
Yeah.
enjoy reminding them about it.
But yeah. Well, I don't know. I do hope they get better. Well, one thing I do want somebody to fix a certain thing is that on Netflix, Haikyuu, they decided to put a foul word for a high schooler to say, and I really don't think that's okay because that is for kids. So if anybody from Netflix, if anybody's watching this, can you please change that, because that destroys the entire series. Thank you. Like things like this, like that, I'm like, you can it's an easy fix. So like that's just a bad translation thing. So yeah, it's a kids show. I'll go check it. Maybe they fixed it. I hope they fixed it. I don't remember where it was, but yeah. Oh, I know it's like time. I totally forgot, because like there's something I also wanted to talk about, which was like the term shonen and shoujo. Like,
Oh yeah,
yeah.
we're gonna talk about.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much to talk about. Sorry, we were like talking about this one thing for the longest time, but yeah. Well, to end it, I'm just gonna say, don't come up to a Japanese person and be like, I really like shonen, because that means that you're into boys, and that's just really gross and scary. Like, shonen literally means boys, young, male, probably up to the age 12. It doesn't mean a genre of a manga. So, please don't say that out loud. You're gonna be taken to the police. Thank you.
I
Same
guess
with
you would
shoujo.
say like shonen manga.
Yeah, say shonen manga. Yeah, because I was so confused at first when I first started VTubing. People like comment on my YouTube, and I am very sorry. I do have to admit, I did delete a lot of the comments because I did not realize. Like, people were like, I love shonen, so I'm really happy that I found you. And I would be like, delete, block, scary. But turns out that they were actually okay, normal people. I didn't understand the context. Because
Yeah.
I don't have a single like otaku friend like outside of Japan. It's not like I was hiding the fact that I was. It's just that like my friends, like my normal like uni friends, for example, are like not into these stuff, and they probably don't even care if I am. And well, it's just that I don't even like show that. We just live in a very different world, you know. But that's not okay. I was about to block so many people.
It's funny for me because I have a couple Japanese friends that like to quiz me on my otaku knowledge. Just because they get so amused about how much I know, and they're just always so blown away.
I mean, like, the internet is a weird place. There's a lot of words that otakus use, like Japanese otaku use, that I personally try not to use because I'm like, that's kind of crossing the line. But yeah,
And I tend to know a lot. And that's what, yeah, no, they'll ask me, like, do you, like, they'll just be like, Shimo, have you ever do you know this word? And I'm just like, yes. It's like, why do you know these things? I'm like, I've read things, okay?
reading things on the internet.
I've read books, okay?
Oh, okay, books. Well, still, if they come up from the internet, it's kind of the same thing. Just kidding. Well, not really.
But yeah, it's interesting because I'm just like, I'm so far removed from the Western side of things. That a lot of it, I get so sidelined by a lot of what happens on the Western side too. Like, I think the use of ecchi for
and the term hentai, I can't even use it like normally anymore thanks to that. I'm like, what the heck? English, we're ruining everything. Just kidding, it's not, but like kind of.
Everyone uses ecchi to refer to like fan service series, and I'm like, that is so not what that means.
My goodness. See, this is why I probably am supposed to shift my entire target to Japanese audiences and start making English teaching content and just like fully stop making Japanese teaching content.
Yeah, no, it's just like
misunderstand.
Yeah, because in English, that they use ecchi to refer to like fan service-y series, and it's just like in Japanese that is not what that means. That is so not.
I didn't say that word, but still, why?
Yeah,
People...
I don't. I'm like that actually just means the new thing is hentai. Like, why would you do that?
People, goodness.
I'm like, that's almost worse.
I bet. Oh, I bet.
Yeah. Because I think it was like literally last week, someone was talking about an ecchi anime, and I was just like, I got very confused when it wasn't what I was thinking they were talking about based on the word. And I was just like, wait, what?
Yeah.
I'm like, clearly I've not been talking to enough English speakers lately because I was very much misunderstanding things.
So, hentai just means aberrant, abnormal, different. Well, it does mean perfect, like perverted. But, for example, like, I just say that I am hyperfixated on, like, cleaning this one spot. You know, because I'm a maid and I clean. Like, people might call that action hentai because I'm, like, so into it. So it's not just, it can be, like, different or, like, abnormal. To be fair, Japanese uses a lot of borrowed English. It changes meanings. Okay, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so here's the thing. They use normal words.
Yeah, it's not like just anime, like otaku words. It's the meaning might be different, but it's not like it's not okay for a kid to say type word.
Yeah, I mean it's like the meaning might be different, but it's like when they're referring to non-R18 anime as ecchi anime, it's like that is kind of an issue. I feel like
there's gonna be so much that's gonna be.
But it's also really weird when you call like. Because an alternative name for Yuri in Japan is girls love. For some reason in English they decided to call it shoujo-ai because why not just call it girls love, right?
Oh, okay.
But shoujo-ai's translation is
like girl as in like young girl.
Yeah, like young girl lover, right?
Yeah, I see how that's going to bring up a lot of issues.
Yeah. The meaning for that is far worse.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah, I was kind of like, but then like in English, it's like shoujo-ai is like non-R18, and then Yuri is like R18 only.
Oh, what, really?
Yeah, but it's like in Japanese, it's like they're all the same thing. There's no difference.
There's just a category of rated R, and like, that's where the line is drawn.
Yeah, it's either adult only, it's not adult only.
Yeah.
Girls love is just another tag.
Yeah. Okay, so that's I feel. So
it was from some publisher like was pushing that label. Really? I forget what.
Why?
Yeah,
Why
that's where it came from. With girls love, I don't remember.
Maybe like they thought it was just gonna sell better because it was a lot
something
more
like that. Yeah, that was kind of the idea. It was just like another way to like try to like push Yuri, right?
Yeah. Well, weird stuff. Well, I do hope that people do stop saying just like shonen or shoujo and actually say shonen manga and shoujo manga so that I don't have to get weirded out and block people. And I do hope like the right meaning of like certain words like hentai, for example, or doujin gets spread so that people can still use the word as it is but don't have to misunderstand like when a Japanese person does it or says it.
Oh yeah, and speaking of dojin, someone mentioned earlier in chat. I was gonna mention reply about it. Totally forgot until now. Someone mentioned that
there were so many comments that I missed.
I
I'm pretty sure
know.
they were really good ones.
Someone mentioned that 2000s people didn't consider Toho music as dojin or something.
What?
I don't remember
Really?
who it
That's
was.
the
Yeah,
pinnacle
but
of
yeah,
the idea
but yeah,
of
it's
dojin.
That's news to me because when I was getting into dojin music, Toho was always dojin.
Oh yeah, and they that's yeah.
And so I don't know where that came from either, because it's
Toho is a very interesting genre because doesn't really matter what generation you're born in. If you become an otaku, you usually just go through it and experience it. I never even played the games, but I even have a whole dictionary thingy of the characters for no reason. They're so cool. And you will always, if you're a high schooler who starts getting into those stuff, you go to karaoke with your certain type of friends and you sing the songs and they'll go woohoo.
I have a copy of Imperishable Night on my shelf.
Ooh.
I've played it.
Those are good songs. Pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's very interesting how little is known about it. Even by people who proclaim themselves to be big fans of.
Yeah, it's just such a huge franchise. I feel like when I say franchise, it sounds like they are a major corporation, but
yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's been going on for decades, so I mean,
and almost all of it's dojin work. It's all dojin works, but it's just kind of the majority of the content isn't even by the creator of it.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah, that's one thing I do like about certain culture in terms of the otaku culture. There's the toho scene, there's the Vocaloid that people just keeps on creating their own stuff, and it doesn't really matter if the original creator keeps on making it or not. It keeps it alive. And it's very different because it's not like there's a story behind it, even though there are.
Well, there is for Toho.
Yeah, it's just it's not like manga or anime or games where you have to, where there's I don't know, in terms of, in a sense, I guess that might be the closest idea of what was it, the free use law thingy?
Well, Zune has very extensive guidelines that he's updated over the years.
Yeah.
But his general stance has been
as long as you have fun.
Yeah, his guidelines are basically free use for dojin. And originally he didn't allow for any commercial use. That's kind of slowly shifted, but yeah. I think you also had to there were all kinds of rules. I couldn't tell you accurately offhand anymore because they've changed so much since I even the last time I read them was probably 10 years ago.
Yeah, it's been since high school that I last touched it, so
yeah, it's been a while since I looked at them. But yeah, there's
interesting stuff, good stuff.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting to see how that's turned out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just it's very interesting, very, very interesting.
Wait.
And there's definitely that big influx of new otaku coming in that
yes,
doesn't help who don't know a whole lot, and then
it's it's starting to become a bigger problem in Japan too.
Mm-hmm.
So, like,
The misinformation keeps spreading.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if you are in the VTuber scene, like, I'm pretty sure you've heard of this idea of 한도시로물에, like stay as a lurker for at least half a year so that you can really understand the rules and the context and the world that surrounds that whatever, like, you know, company, corporation, VTuber. And like, I think that's a bit too much, you know, it's just a saying within the internet scene. But there's a lot of like people who would just come in, for example, like come into the chat and say things that they are probably not supposed to say, but it's kind of hard because it's not like there's a rule to it. Like, there's not a written rule to it. It's just so vague and yeah, which probably means that the Japanese otaku culture is going to keep on changing too very rapidly.
I mean, it has been. It always is.
Especially with like the VTuber scene, I feel like it really has changed a lot. And also,
all of it has.
Like, I don't know when exactly this idea really started, but oshikatsu has changed so many things, like so many things. The idea of oshikatsu, like actually sharing and being open about who your favorite idol or character or whatnot has been such a big thing. Like, even with like, you know, IRL idols or like actors, actresses. And I feel like that rise of the idea of oshikatsu has really like, in a way, pushed a lot of people into like spending more time and money into the things they like, including anime and manga and VTubers, and there's a lot of money that's involved in it. So, which means that the world is obviously going to change around it, because when there's money, people make new stuff. As much as we might not like the idea, that's just how it is.
Yeah, I mean, I've been watching that in the music scene.
Oh yeah.
Just like, there's so many new people coming into the music scene in the last few years. Like, I don't even know half of them anymore.
Oh, I mean, it's a good thing, but at the same time, like, I guess that comes down to the idea of like gatekeeping. Like, it's not really like gatekeeping, but then, like, if there's a lot of new people, how are you going to preserve the culture when, if there even is a culture to preserve, or because culture is something that is supposed to change anyway, and like if you're just,
I'm not really concerned about like preserving the culture. It's just kind of wild to me, because it's like I left the music scene for like a couple years, and then I came back and it was like such a huge change from I guess because of COVID, like
true.
I guess
COVID changed.
I don't know, but it was just like there's so many new people that like just suddenly popped up out of nowhere, it feels like. I've made quick friends with a lot of them, but it's just like the music event I'm participating in, right? The Doujin event. It went to lottery for the first time ever this fall.
What?
Yeah. I managed to get a booth, but like I know people who didn't.
Wow. I mean, like, that's cool, but wow.
Yeah, it's like the first time in 20 years that it's gone to lottery. Like, that's kind of a big deal, right? And it's got 1,500 booth like spaces.
That is a lot.
Yeah, and I went to lottery for the first time ever. Like, it's kind of wild to think about.
Yeah, that is. There's a question for you, by the way. I can read it. This question for Shimo-san: is AI becoming a problem in the music scene?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, that's cool.
It's not that I'm aware of. It could be, but not where I'm active, maybe. Because obviously, like, there's 1,500 spaces.
Yeah.
And not all of it's the music genres I'm involved in, so there could be some, but I don't know. I don't hear about it.
Yeah. I do think like AI, like generative AI in general is...
I hear about it being an issue with album covers.
Oh yeah, like illustrations,
Like,
art.
yeah,
I'm pretty
people
sure
using
that's
it for
a thing.
illustration covers.
Yeah. But then like also feel like this...
I'm
is-
generally against it.
Yeah, me too.
I'm 99% of the time I'm against it. But honestly, there's actually 1 or 2 albums last M3 that I ended up buying that had an AI out, like AI, generative AI art covers, because I actually thought the use of it was actually really the entire concept of the album was based around AI. So they used they used like synth V for the vocals, which is AI based, not generative AI based, but like AI based, like voice synthesizer, right? So think Vocaloid, but like even crazier. If you're not familiar with it, different kind of AI, but all the lyrics for their stuff were like centered around like this AI story. So it was just kind of like, I guess using that for the cover art just kind of fit with the theme
It kind of just makes
they were going
sense.
for with. Yeah.
I think that's just a really good like example of how AI is just being used as a tool and not like, you know.
I still don't like the use of it, but it's like, it does kind of fit with the theme for the album was going with, at least. So it's like, I don't know.
Yeah. And I
Generally,
think,
I'm not
like,
a fan of it.
There's a huge... I feel like there is something that is happening, which is like people being divided in a... Like, there are people who make generative AI images, for example, or like music, and there's people who like buys them or listens to them. And I think it's just that those people who would buy and listen to them weren't originally people who were like really into music, really into art either way.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, if you hear the people that make those tools, they're just kind of like, they're not into any of it.
Yeah. And so
the AI music guy was just kind of like, it takes so much effort to learn how to play an instrument. Who would want to do that? It's like,
yeah,
I don't know, people who enjoy playing music. What kind of statement is that? Like, what are you talking about? Like, people who play music enjoy playing music and learning how to play music. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. And I think like that's the biggest thing. Like, I see a huge problem, but at the same time, I really don't see it going anywhere at this point. And no, like, just looking at the way people are using it to make, like, you know, like comic illustration type illustrations, or like music. Well, I don't really know like what AI music really sounds like. I'm pretty sure I've listened to it and not realized it because I'm not really good with music. But like, for example,
Well,
like there's posters, like, you know, in Japan, like, for example, at supermarkets that obviously uses like generative AI or images, and I just choose not to go there. And I don't say I'm not like, you know, going to force that to other people, but I'm just pretty sure that there's going to be a lot of people who makes the same type of changes, and so it's just that there's going to be people who just don't care and people who do, I guess, in a way care. And yeah, it's kind of like up to the person who uses it. Like, the result will come to them, like, you know.
I feel like, generally speaking, like, I know there's been issues with like AI booths getting the spots at like Comic-Con and stuff, but I feel like there's gotta be some kind of crackdown on that at some point in time, because like spaces are like so limited. for these events. Like,
exactly.
they shouldn't be getting spaces at these events.
And like, for example, I already see things happening. Like, for example, Pixip booth. They just like wrote out the statement saying that they're gonna stop start looking more into the AI generative images and people who keeps on selling them, and stop making them monetizing them. So it might have been slower than people wanted to, but there's a huge change that is already happening. So I'm honestly not as concerned about it, I guess. I obviously am not an illustrator or anything, but yeah. And once it dies down in a way, so because of people not being able to make money off of it, I'm pretty sure there's going to be a new way, a better way that people might actually be able to use it. Because I'm not against generative AI, it's just that the way people are using it that's the problem. So yeah, that's my take on it. I think it's a cool tool if you... Well, the problem is that nobody really knows how to use it, but if somebody figures out a good way of use, maybe it will be.
Honestly, I love sympathy. I love it. Someone mentioned people using it for to help people learn for doing live performances, but honestly, you can do some really neat stuff with it. I enjoy it a lot.
Yeah. And I use ChatGPT to come up with ideas, and the way I come up with ideas is a bit different. It's not like I'm just gonna take an idea that ChatGPT has and use it as it is. It's more like I ask ChatGPT to come up with an idea when I'm stuck. It comes up with crazy amount of ideas, and I'm go, that is not how it's done. I get fuse, rage, and that is how I get things done. So, see? That's another way of using AI.
Well, in the case of Synthy, it is basically Vocaloid, but even more realistic. I love it.
Yeah, I can hear it from the tone of your voice.
It's something I've been wanting to write a track with. I never have time.
Time is up the issue. There's
Yeah.
always time. Yeah, but for example, in terms of generative AI, you might have heard of the news that one of the cities in Japan, they installed this AI translator at the counter, because they have a lot of foreign immigrants who would come in, and it's really hard for there's not a single worker there that can speak all the languages that is needed, because again, it's not really English. It's Chinese, Korean, Vietnamese, and so I think there was a company that made this AI translator that would actually translate things on the dot. They can just still communicate at the counter, but everything that they say gets translated on that monitor thingy. And for example, that's a great use of generative AI. So yeah. Oh, and I know this has to do with translations too, but I do a bit of translation work. And I think I talked about this before, but I feel like there's a big change that is happening in smaller translation works. Not big major corporations, just smaller. But they would usually just make the original script go through ChatGPT or DeepL, and then have the actual translator go through and correct things so that they can like fasten the process. I don't honestly think that's a bad way of using it, because there's no way that an AI can really like fully grasp the idea or the nuance or the tone of things. And so in a way, to me, it's not like my pay is lower because of it. Actually, I always tell them that I will still get paid enough. It's just that they get to, you know, get their product faster. But yeah, I don't know. Language learning model. Oh, so it's not generative. Okay, sorry. Yeah. So, sorry. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. That's my translation thingy. But, sorry, I realized
similarly, like...
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Well, it's the same thing with, like, Synthvi. It's actually just Vocaloid.
Yeah.
Basically, the AI and the engine it just induces randomness. It's the only difference. Yeah.
But yeah, I guess in a way, like doing something that a human being wouldn't be able to do. Like,
actually, it's to add in what humans do.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's to add in like the variances in pitch and dynamics that humans do with their voice.
Oh, I see.
Like they do unconsciously, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so the results are is that Synthvi sounds more human and less robotic than Vocaloid.
Oh, that is cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's... Yeah. I can add like vibrato and stuff. Oh, so that's what you can do.
But the workflow is identical to like Vocaloid, so that's the only difference between it. But yeah, there's I've seen people freak out over like Synthvi being like, oh, it's the same as like generative AI. It's like, no.
I mean, I guess to be fair, like, I guess I can understand why people can get, you know, like scared. Not scared, but like weirded out by it. It's kind of just like how it happens every single time when something new comes up. Happened with the vaccine, like it happens with new technology. Happened with like washing machines, microwaves. So
it's just the unfortunate fact that like AI is just immediately associated with like generative AI and like image stuff.
Yeah, I think like people associating it so much with images
and then just general piracy when that's not only
that too. But I'm hopeful. I'm pretty sure like there will be a way that it could be used a lot better to actually benefit people. So yeah, happened with photography. Oh yeah, people thought that their souls would be sucked up. My grandfather kept on thinking that until he died. Like, it should be fine. But yeah. So we'll see how it goes, I guess. And sorry, I know like we have passed what we call our due time for like 30 minutes.
I mean, I'm not complaining.
Me neither, but turns out that we both have work.
I'm gonna be staying up late reading my light novel anyway.
Of course.
I might try to finish off this volume before I sleep.
Well,
or I'm gonna fall asleep reading it.
This book, so she's gonna reading it.
Listen, I got a tablet for Christmas just to read.
Tablet? Like a Kindle's type stuff?
No, I got a Galaxy tablet just for reading.
Wow. Kindle tablet, okay.
Yeah, because I wanted the OLED screen.
Well, you gotta make good use of it then, by using it a lot.
I do. I've read 7 volumes in 4 days. I would say that's getting some good use out of it.
For sure. Shimo-san's getting good use out of it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, sorry, I know
It's
that...
perfect for reading in bed.
Yeah, but... Well, as you can tell, I really like those, like, you know, I know this stream probably wasn't, like, structured, because I know that a lot of my streams are actually a lot more, like, structured, but I really like those... There's not such thing as a goal type Zatsu streams, because we get to talk about a lot of stuff. And going into tangents are just a part of life, so...
Yeah, it's fun to do one where we didn't have a structure.
Yeah. But, well, in terms of AI, we'll see how morals of human beings would come in. I mean, I don't know much because I'm a dog, but, you know. And, well, I hope you were able to see a bit of a difference between Japanese and Western otaku culture, even though, like, we talked a lot more about other stuff.
Yeah.
But I do, again, see a lot of differences. And some might be good, some might be, like, harmful for both. And so I do hope that, like, both sides will be able to come to learn both sides, so that we'll be able to understand each other better. And I do hope that, I don't know, like, maybe I'll pitch myself in as a translator for certain manga, so that, like, I can get paid a lot. Does this mean that there will be a sequel to this stream? I mean, we can always talk, like, off stream, but if people want to hear us yapping, yeah, there might be a sequel.
I mean, I'm always down.
Yeah, you can always do one. We'll just, like, maybe we'll come up with a different theme, or, like, I don't know, maybe I'll make a list of things to talk about so that we'll actually talk about the theme. But yeah, well, if you want a sequel, because there will always be a possibility of a sequel, leave a comment in the bot and tell us, like, what you would want us to talk about, because, again, obviously this wasn't really like a debate, but, like, agreeing with off each other type stream. But I think this, like, yeah, I think it's, again, is cool because, like, again, I don't really know much still about the Western otaku scene and culture, and even though I do make content, like, that is not really for Japanese people, I still feel sometimes, in a way, a bit lost about, like, where I stand and stuff, so, yeah.
No, I feel the same way.
Yeah, it's just, well, and then there's the limit, like, you know, the time limit, like, we don't have enough time problem, so it's kind of hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. But again, like, leave a comment on the bot if you want a certain theme you would like us to talk about, and that would be cool. Shimo-san, do you have anything stream-wise or, like, activity-wise coming up? Is there something you want to say at the end?
Not that I can think of offhand.
I think she's ready to go back to reading, everybody. Go back to reading.
I was just thinking, I'm like, we're kind of more or less aligned on these subjects.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
To such a bizarre degree.
We already did, like, difference between Japanese and Western VTubing, but even that topic itself can have, like, 8 sequels and still can be a still ongoing series, so. Yeah. I would one day love to talk about, like, academic VTubers, because somehow, I don't know, that seems to really be the, like, a thing that I can really only find in Japanese VTubing, or maybe I'm not looking deep enough. But yeah,
we could talk about all about advice for
yes,
YouTube video.
That too.
Yeah.
But, well, turns out it's time for me to go to bed, and Shimo-san's time to go to read her book. So again, thank you so much.
I should go to bed, but...
Yeah, I know, I should probably go to bed, like, way past my bedtime. But again, thank you so much all for being here. Sorry, it's been a while since I, like, did a collab Zatsu. I was really bad at, like, reading the comments, but all the comments are appreciated. And if there's a sequel, we will do better. Well, it's more like I will do better in reading the comments so that we can, like, all talk together. And in terms of me, I sadly don't have any videos planned. I don't really have a stream planned yet in the future. Well, this coming Sunday, yes, but I do stream like 5 to 8 hours a day on Twitch just because I am like really crunching on like I'm a time crunch on like work and studies. So if you work from home or if you like to sneak and like watch a stream during work hours, you can come to my Twitch study with me co-working streams. Yes, that's all. では、しもさん、寝ましょうか。No, no, you're not going to bed. 終わりましょうか。How shall we end this? Shall we end it with like 3, 2, 1, bye bye or anything?
Sure, we can.
Okay, then we'll say 3, 2, 1, bye bye. I'll count down. Sounds good?
Okay.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Good night.
Good night.